A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness in every Lucky you smoke. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained the largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory in America. Tobacco is analyzed both before and after it is bought. Yes, prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample leaves from all tobacco-growing areas to the great Lucky Strike Research Laboratory in Richmond, Virginia, for scientific analysis to help determine which tobaccos are really fine, light, naturally mild. And this is only one phase of the constant year-round research program that makes possible the unconditional guarantee you find on every pack. In all sincerity, we ask you to check the cigarette you are now smoking. We assure you that among all leading brands, only the makers of Lucky Strike put a guarantee on the pack. So smoke a Lucky, and then let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're broadcasting from New York City for the opening of the 1950 Haert campaign. So, without further ado, I bring you the man who is here to help launch the campaign, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and ladies and gentlemen, as Don said, we're here to help raise money for the 1950 Haert campaign. It's a very worthy charity, and everyone should donate as much as possible.
Well, Jack, do you think everyone will make a donation?
Don, if I'm giving, how can anyone refuse? But tell me, Don, have you been doing anything exciting since we've been here?
Oh, I certainly have, Jack. I've seen several shows, and I've been to some nightclubs, but early Wednesday morning I got the biggest thrill of all. The government invited me to come to Norfolk, Virginia.
Really? Why?
Well, I don't know, but when I got there, they took off my clothes, pushed me in the ocean, the tide went up, and the mighty mole floated away.
I knew you could do it.
Okay, Dad, let's get the show rolling. Will you? Harris is here. Come on, let's get this clam bake off the ground. Hiya, Jackson.
Well, if it isn't dear hearts and drunken people. Hello, Phil.
Hey, Jackson, this is really a great town, ain't it? Nothing like old New York.
You said it, Phil. Have you having fun?
Yes, sir. The first night in town, Remley and I spent the evening at the Museum of Natural History.
Phil, the museum.
And the next night we went to Carnegie Hall, Thursday night Grant's Tomb, Friday night the planetarium, and last night we conducted on a tour through the Botanical Gardens.
Phil, do you mean that you and Remley have been spending your evenings in such places as Carnegie Hall, the Museum of Natural History, and the Botanical Gardens?
No, but Alice might be listening in, and I want to get out again tonight.
I see.
Say, Jackson, you know the night I said that Frankie and I went to Grant's Tomb?
Yeah?
We were stiffer than he was.
Well, Phil, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You only get to New York once in a while. You ought to go to some shows and take Alice with you.
Well, I've been trying to get Alice out of the hotel, but we can't get a sitter.
A sitter?
Yeah, with what's happening around town, somebody's got to stay home with that jewelry.
You're darn right. I got a man at home watching my cufflinks now.
Oh, say, Phil.
Oh, hiya, Donzelberg.
Phil, I don't recognize any of the musicians you have here. This isn't your regular band, is it?
No, Don. You see, I left my boys in Los Angeles. These are some of the musicians I picked up.
All right.
They sounded pretty good, Phil.
Well, they ought to. I got the brass section from Guy Lombardo, the rhythm section from Jimmy Dorsey, and the harp is sitting up there. I got her from Phil Spitalny.
Spitalny? Well, that certainly should add a lot of... Wait a minute, Phil. Phil, there's no harpist here.
What? Well, what do you... All right, fellas, where is she? Where is she?
Phil, don't yell so loud. People will think that...
Hello, fellas. Hi, Jack.
Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello.
Well, did you hear that applause, Mary? Everybody's glad to see you.
Oh, yes, Jack. It makes me feel just wonderful.
Say, Mary, I haven't seen you since you got in town. You been having fun?
Oh, yes, Don. I've been to a lot of shows. Lost in the Stars, The Enchanted, The Happy Time, and I went to some nightclubs, too.
Oh, which ones, Mary?
Well, I went to Leon and Eddie's, the Historic Club, the Versailles, El Morocco, and last night Jack took me to Cronkite Rendezvous.
Yeah.
The Cronkite Rendezvous? I never heard of it.
Well, that's understandable, Don. You see, the Cronkite Rendezvous is not right in the center of Manhattan. See, this club is a little downtown.
A little downtown. It's under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Mary.
On the Brooklyn side yet. Oh, brother, what a joint.
What do you mean, joint?
It's the only nightclub I ever saw where you enter through a turnstile.
All right, all right.
Jack, I can't figure you out. You come to New York once a year and you go to the crummiest club, stay at the worst hotels, eat at
Wait a minute, Mary. Just 1 minute. I won't argue about the Cronkite Rendezvous anymore. But I resent your insinuation that the Acme Plaza is not a good hotel.
Oh, Jack, how can you stay at a hotel that caters to such awful people?
Awful. What's wrong with the people at the Acme Plaza?
The water shortage was on for 6 weeks before anybody there found out about it.
Look, Mary, it just so happens that I like the... Now, who can that be? Come in.
Jack, look, it's Mel Blanc.
Oh, yes, the poor man's Al Jolson. Okay, Mel, you can go now.
Go.
Yes, you came in, you did your bit, you got your laugh, now go.
But back in Hollywood, you said if I came to New York, you'd give me a big part in your program.
I'm sorry, we haven't got time for it now.
But I sold my furniture and hucked my watch to raise the money to come here.
Mel.
I bought a train ticket. I said goodbye to my wife and kids. Traveled 3,000 miles, and for what? Just to say,
Mel, you better go.
I won't go. Back in California, all my friends are sitting by the radio waiting to hear me on your program. And all I get to say is, Well, I won't go. Do you hear? I won't.
But, Mel, I don't need an imitation of Jolson.
Mel, you can't do this to me. Not after all I've done for you. I even went to the trouble to get you a due bill at the Cronkite Rendezvous.
Mel, go already.
Just a second, Jack.
Huh?
Did you have the nerve to get a due bill to that awful nightclub?
Mary, believe me, there's nothing wrong with that club. The atmosphere is nice and the food there is wholesome.
I said wholesome.
I don't know why it is. I come to New York only once a year. I try to do a classy show. Look what happens.
Well, Jack, if you're trying to do such a classy show, why are you wearing that old gray suit that isn't even pressed?
I'll tell you why. Because I haven't seen my new brown suit or Rochester since I got off the train.
Jack, you mean Rochester is wearing your brown suit?
Don, all I know is that Rochester and my brown suit disappeared at the same time. And I haven't seen either one since we got off the train. I'm so mad that
Mr. Benny.
Huh? Oh, hello, Dennis. I'm so mad that for 2 pins...
I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Benny.
Later, kid. I'm so mad that for 2 pins...
Oh, Jack, calm down.
I won't calm down. I'll bring Rochester all the way to New York to take care of my personal things so I can be free to do a show, and look what happens.
Can I talk to you now, Mr. Benny?
I have to unpack my clothes, iron my own shirt, shine my own shoes, and on top of that, my new brown suit is missing.
Can I talk to you now, Mr. Benny?
All right, all right. What is it, Dennis?
I want to raise.
Well, that that does it. Dennis, why did you wait till we got to New York to ask me for a raise?
Because last night I took a walk in the park and there's ice on the statue of Nathan Hale.
There's ice on the statue of Nathan Hale? What's that got to do with it?
My mother said you'd give me a raise when Hale freezes over.
Dennis, why don't you stop with that silly stuff? Dennis, stop with that silly stuff and do your song.
Okay, but how about my raise?
Forget the raise. You're making plenty of money with your 2 shows and your personal appearance.
Dennis, are you making a personal appearance?
Yeah, Mr. Benny booked me into the Cronkite Rendezvous.
The Cronkite Rendezvous, that's funny. I saw the floor show last night, Dennis, but I didn't see you.
Oh, I was stuck in the turnstile.
Look, Dennis, just sing your song, will you?
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, I'm going out in the hall and get a glass of water.
I'm thirsty, too. I'll go with you.
Come on.
So long.
The good book from Friday till Monday. That's how the weekend goes. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day with picket fence and rambling rose. I feel so welcome each time that I return that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. I love the dear heart and gentle people who live and love in my hometown. There's a spirit in the air that you can't find anywhere. Folks are cheerful 'cause they're always feeling fine. Every holiday is grand for the local leisure band. We'll be sure to be parading rain or shine. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown. Because those dear hearts and gentle people will never, ever let you
Gee, I was thirsty.
Me too. We better get back. Dennis just finished the song.
Oh, you go in, Mary. I want to get a package of cigarettes. There's a machine over there. Yada-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, dum-dee-da-da-dum, da-dum, dum-dee-da-da-dum. Gee, what a fancy cigarette machine.
Hey, Bud. Bud.
Huh?
Come here a minute.
Me?
Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm getting a package of cigarettes.
What kind?
Lucky Strike.
Smart boy.
Huh?
You're putting your dough on a favorite. And look at the odds.
The odds?
With men who know tobacco best, it's Lucky's 2-1.
I know.
And another thing.
What?
Come here a minute.
According to the smoking form, Lucky's have been picked by experts.
Yes, I know.
And look at the breeding.
The breeding?
It's by American Tobacco out of Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Well, thanks very much.
You going to get a pack of Lucky's?
Am I going to get a pack of Lucky's?
Yeah.
Come here a minute.
Huh?
I'm going to get 2 packs.
2?
I'm trying for the daily double.
Smart boy. See you later.
Well, I got my Lucky's. I better get back on the stage. Da-da-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, da-dee-da-dee-dum,
Oh, Jack, Dennis finished his song a couple of minutes ago. We've been waiting for you.
Oh, a fella stopped me in the hall. What song did you do, Dennis?
Well, the one I recorded for RCA Victor, Dear Hearts and Gentle People.
Oh, that's swell.
Yeah, I heard Dinah Shaw sing it in the Wedgwood room, and boy, she wonderful.
You're right, Dennis. Dinah Shore is a very talented singer.
Well, if you like her so much, what do you want me for?
Dennis.
You always tell me how good everybody else is.
But you started the whole thing. You were the one who said Dinah Shore was so wonderful.
I know your type.
Look, kid.
On the way home, you'll throw me off at Kansas City.
Oh, she's wonderful. Now he's... Mary, in all your life, did you ever see such a silly kid?
Well, Jack, you know how he is. Remember what happened when we were here 3 years ago?
What was that?
You told him to get tickets to Oklahoma, and a week later he called us from Tulsa.
Anyway, I don't know why I let him bother me when I got other things to worry about, like Rochester, for instance. I can't understand why he wouldn't... Hey, wait a minute. I just thought of something. I got a phone number here that he... I'll bet I'll find him there. Here it is. Mary, hand me the phone.
Here you are.
Thanks.
Now, Jack, don't get too mad at him.
Leave it to me, Mary. Bet you I'll find Rochester here. Hello?
Hello? This is the Harlem Social Benevolent and Spare Every Thursday Club.
I'm looking for Rochester. Is he there?
Come again?
I'm looking for Rochester Van Jones. He works for me.
Are you Mr. Benny?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean, uh-oh? Is Rochester there or not?
Well, this place was on his itinerary, but as soon as he won, he left.
He won?
Yeah. But next time, we won't be so sympathetic.
What do you mean, sympathetic?
When Rochester came through the door on one knee, we thought he was hurt. So the benevolent members of our club knelt down to see what was the matter.
Uh-huh.
And before we could diagnose the case, we were in a game of Harlem Canasta.
Wait a minute. Look, you've got your games mixed up. Canasta's played with cards.
Mr. Benny, when you're trying to make sevens, the equipment you use is irrelevant, immaterial, and has no bearing on the point.
I guess so. Anyway, do you know where Rochester could be now?
You might try Monument 21099. That's his girlfriend.
Thank you.
Would you have any luck, Jack?
No, but the man gave me another number. I'll try this one. I'll find Rochester if I have to call every place in Harlem.
Hello. Mamie Brown, the sweetest gal in town, talking.
Miss Brown, this is Jack Benny.
Oh.
Look, I'm trying to get in touch with Rochester. Is he there?
He was here.
Oh. Well, do you think he'll come back?
In all modesty, I can guarantee that.
Well, when he returns, will you please tell him to call my hotel? And you can also tell him I'm stopping his salary.
Oh, that ain't going to bother him. He now owns the building that houses the Harlem Social, Benevolent, and Spare Ribs Every Thursday Club.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. He wins from everybody, doesn't he?
Yeah. When I opened the door and he came in on one knee, I thought it was a proposal.
Oh. Well, where do you think I can reach him now?
Well, he left a number here. Lehigh 41598.
Lehigh 41598. Is that another girl?
If it is, I'm going to cut your brown suit to ribbons.
No, don't do that, and thanks for giving me the number. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Lehigh 41598.
Oh, Jack, we've got to get on with the program.
In a minute, Don. Well, at least I'm making some progress. I'll catch up with Rochester yet.
Hello, Lenox Avenue. Come as you are, cocktail bar.
Now, look, Mr.
David Copperfield speaking.
Well, look, David, I'm trying to get in touch with Rochester Van Jones.
Uh-oh.
This is Jack Benny.
You heard me. Didn't you?
Well, what about Rochester? Is he there?
No, he just left.
Oh, then he can't be very far.
Well, I don't know. It's amazing how he gets around on one knee.
Oh, he won from you, too, huh?
Yeah, and please make this short. I'm cold standing here without my pants.
Oh, I'm not interested in that. When Rochester left, did he leave a number?
No, sir. He made every one of them.
Well, never mind. Thank you.
Goodbye.
You can't find him, eh, Jack?
No. And David Copperfield didn't know where he was, either.
Who?
Never mind. You wouldn't believe it, Mary. I don't know where else. I'll get it. Hello?
Hello, boss. Where you been all week?
Where have I been? Rochester, I haven't seen you since we arrived in town. And I called every hot spot in Harlem that has a telephone.
At the hot ones, you can't hear it ring.
I don't doubt that. Now, look, you knew there was a lot of unpacking to do, and my clothes had to be pressed. Now, when you got off the train, where did you go?
Boss, when I left the railroad station, I went right to the door of your hotel, ready to work.
Uh-huh.
And just as I was about to enter, a black cat crossed my path. And you know how superstitious I am.
I know. But, Rochester, couldn't you walk around the cat?
I did and wound up at 125th Street.
Oh, I see. Well, Rochester, I want to ask you something.
Yes, boss.
You know this is February, don't you? And you know that February is the month of George Washington's birthday. And George Washington is the symbol of truth. Now, Rochester, with that in mind, I want you to answer this question. Did you or did you not wear my brown suit?
Well...
Rochester, answer me. Did you or did you not wear my brown suit?
Boss, would you mind rephrasing that question to give George a little more leeway?
I'm not rephrasing anything, and I haven't time to argue with you. Where are you right now?
Just a minute. What's this address here, sugar?
31 Lenox Avenue, honey.
31 Lenox Avenue, honey.
Rochester, who are you talking to? Is that Mamie Brown, the sweetest gal in town?
No, this is Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm.
Well, Rochester, I don't care who you're with. I want you to get over to my hotel immediately. There's a lot of work to do, and I want it done right away.
Yes, sir. Just a minute, boss. Say, sugar, I gotta go now.
Okay, Rochester. But don't forget, you're taking me to the Savoy Ballroom tomorrow night.
Oh, I can't do that, sugar. I'm taking Mamie Brown.
You ain't going to the Savoy Ballroom with nobody but me, Rochester.
Oh, yes, I am.
Rochester, if I catch any other girl there with you, she ain't going to have an enchanted evening.
What?
She's going to meet a stranger across a crowded room.
Honey.
And once I've found her, I'll never let her go.
Rochester, what's going on there?
She's auditioning for a part in South Pacific.
Now, you listen to me and get right over to my hotel. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I don't know why it is. I have the same trouble with them every time I come to New York. Ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned at the start of the program, we are here for the opening of the 1950 Heart campaign. And so at this time, I would like to introduce Dr. H.M. Marvin, President of the American Heart Association. Dr. Marvin.
Jack, I want to thank you and your entire cast on behalf of the American Heart Association for coming to New York to open the 1950 Heart campaign. Heart disease is our greatest challenge because it takes more lives than any other illness and causes tremendous disability. In radio, you have a sponsor to back your show. The American Heart Association, however, must count on the American public to back its program. The need is very great, and in order to meet it, we have set a goal of $6 million to be used for research, for education, and for community service. The dollars contributed by the tremendous audience now listening to this broadcast could assure the success of this campaign. We are confident that the public will give its support wholeheartedly. With your permission, Jack, I'd like to suggest that the listeners to this program be asked to send their contributions directly to you, Jack Benny, at Box 500, New York City.
Thank you, Doctor.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first...
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Listen to the words of a tobacco expert, Mr. Charles Thomas Randolph, an independent tobacco buyer from Kinston, North Carolina. Recently, he said,
I've been learning about tobacco for 31 years, and during that time I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine quality tobacco. The kind of tobacco that's bound to make a real good smoke. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 23 years.
Millions of smokers, including the famous movie and television star Robert Montgomery, take a tip from the tobacco experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, the popular Robert Montgomery said, Lucky's are really smooth. That's why I smoke them regularly. Yes, every regular Lucky Strike smoker knows there's always smoothness and mildness in every puff. So for your own real deep down smoking enjoyment, light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. There's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week we will be broadcasting again from New York City. And don't forget, in the meantime, send your Heart Fund donations to Jack Benny, Box 500, New York City.
And don't worry, folks, I don't get any of the money. I mean, they just promised to let me count it. Good night, everybody.
Don't forget, send your Heart Fund donations to Jack Benny, Box 500, New York City. Be sure to hear Dennis Day and A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned for the Amos and Andy Show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. With Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. This is our second week in New York. So let's go out to the Acme Plaza Hotel where Jack is staying. Our little star is still in bed.
Boss, wake up. Mr. Benny, wake up.
Huh? Oh, it's you.
Yes, boss, it's time to get up. Come on, open your baby blue eyes and look at me.
There.
Now, here's your teeth. Smile at me.
I'm smiling. What time is it?
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. Didn't the sun shine today?
I don't know. This room hasn't got a window.
What do you mean it hasn't got a window? Raise the shade. There, what's that?
A picture of Central Park by Grandma Moses.
Well, you could have fooled me. Yesterday, when I lifted the shade, I could have sworn it was snowing.
That was the plaster falling off the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Look at the way it drifted up against the baseboard.
What a hotel.
Rochester, you can stop laughing. This is a very nice...
Hey, Thunder, you want it on the phone.
Huh?
You want it on the phone.
Hand me my robe, Rochester.
Here you are.
Okay, I'm coming. Where's the phone?
Right down the hall. And while you're talking, don't go tampering with a coin box.
I won't. Yeah, I wonder who could be... Oh, here's the phone on the wall. Hello?
Hiya, Jackson. It's about time you answered.
Oh, hello, Phil. You have any trouble getting this hotel?
No, I just dialed BO7236 and the Narwick answered.
Now, cut that out. What'd you call for, anyway?
Well, look, we'll soon be going back to California, and I wanted to know if it's all right with you if Alice and I stopped off at Niagara Falls for a few days. You know, that's the place to go for a honeymoon.
Well, Phil, you and Alice were married 8 years ago. Didn't you go on a honeymoon then?
Yeah, but this time we'd like to go without Remley.
Phil, you took Remley on your honeymoon?
Didn't know it till we got there. Somebody tied him to the back of the car.
Oh, well, that could happen to anybody.
Yeah. Hey, Jackson, I got to tell you about a funny coincidence. Yesterday, Alice and I were walking down the street talking about a second honeymoon, and we ran right into the man that married us.
Who was that?
Petrillo.
Petrillo? How could Petrillo officiate at your wedding?
Why not? My dues was paid up.
Oh, I see.
Well, look, I got to hang up now, Dad. I got a lot of things to do tonight. I'm going to see South Pacific.
South Pacific? You're going to see South Pacific?
Yeah.
Gee, how I envy you. I pulled all kinds of strings to see that show. I couldn't even get one ticket.
Really?
I tried everything.
Have you tried money?
Yes, I even washed Mary Martin's hair. Now, Phil, if you're stopping off at Niagara Falls, will you be back in Hollywood in time for my next Sunday's program?
Sure, I'll be there, Jackson. You know I love you. Huh? Your option is coming up. I wouldn't let you down.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Maestro. Goodbye.
So long, Clyde.
So long. Bye, baby.
Who was it, boss?
Mr. Harris. Well, I better get dressed now. Miss Livingston said that she might... There's that dog in the next room barking again. Kept me awake half the night. I got a good mind to complain to his owner.
His owner lives at the Sherry Netherlands.
The Sherry Netherlands?
He only took a room here for his dog.
Fine thing. Imagine them putting a Cocker Spaniel in the next room.
They tried to give him this one, but he wanted a window.
Afforded. Why not? Rochester, hand me my tie, will you?
Here you are, boy.
Come in. Well, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hello, Rochester.
Yeah, don't be late there, right?
Hi, Miss Livingston.
You know, Mary, when you said you might... Can't wait till he goes to the races. You know, Mary, when you said you'd come right over to this hotel, I wasn't sure that you would.
Well, I have a confession to make. I only came out here out of curiosity.
Oh.
And, Jack, this acting class certainly is different.
What do you mean, different?
Well, I walked in the lobby. I asked the clerk for your room, and he said it was 6 floors down.
All right, so you had to take the elevator.
Some elevator. They lowered me in a bucket.
Mary.
They got a picture of John L. Lewis in the lobby.
Mary.
And the bellboys are on a 3-day week.
Oh, stop.
Be happy you found the place. Did you have any trouble?
No, I was lucky. I got in the cab and said, "Driver, do you know where the Acme Plaza is?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am. I used to live there when I was out of work."
Well, I know you just made that up.
No, I didn't, Dad. Say, have you got your program all set for Sunday?
Most of it, Mary, but I don't know what to do about a commercial. The Sportsman Quartet didn't come to New York.
Oh, sir, you mentioned that yesterday, so I took the liberty to ask some friends of mine to come down and audition for you.
Oh, thanks, Rochester. And you know, Mary, I thought that on the opening of the show, I might play my violin. I haven't done that yet in New York.
Oh, Jack, nobody wants to hear you play Love and Bloom.
Mary, I've learned a new one, Some Enchanted Evening. Wait till I get my violin and I'll play it for you.
Here it is, boss.
Thanks. Oh, Mary, this will be swell now.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, wait here. How do you like that? Hey, listen. There's another violinist in this hotel.
That's the dog. He's playing at the Palace this week.
No kidding.
He used to be with the Met, but he had trouble with Rudolph Bing.
Oh, yes, I read about that. Anyway, Mary, I'm going to play my violin in the program. It'll be very good.
Okay, Jack, okay. Now, how about going out and get something to eat?
We don't have to go out. We can eat right here.
Jack, you mean you want to eat here in this room?
Certainly. Rochester, get room service.
Yes, sir. I'll put a note in the bucket and tell them to lower a waiter.
Stop being funny. I don't care how you do it.
Jack, there's so many nice restaurants in town. Why don't we go out?
Mary, they have very fine food here. There's nothing wrong with this hotel. Maybe a little out of the way. What was that?
Well, hello, Jack. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Don.
Don, I didn't expect to see you. How'd you know where I live?
Well, I didn't. I was walking along the street and fell down an open manhole.
Oh.
Gosh, what a beautiful view of Central Park. Ouch!
Don, what happened?
I tried to stick my head out the window.
Look, Jack, it's snowing.
Yeah. Oh, that must be the waiter now. Come in.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes?
Rochester told us to drop by. He said you were looking for a singing group.
Oh, yes. Come on in, fellas. It was nice of you boys to come over. What do you call yourselves?
The Ink Spots.
The Ink Spots. Well, boys, I'm glad you're here. Rochester told me you had an idea for a number that could be used on my program.
Yes, sir. We took our theme song and made a special arrangement just for you.
Oh, how nice. Could I hear it now?
Yes, sir.
Well, sit down, Mary, Don. Come on, fellas, let's have it.
If I didn't care more than words can say, if I didn't care, would I feel this way? If this isn't love, then why do I thrill? And what makes my head go round and round while my heart stands still? If I didn't care, would it be the same? Would my every prayer begin and end with just your name? And would I be sure His love beyond compare. Would all this be true if I didn't care for you?
You know, Don, the ink spots are going to be great.
They sure will, Jack. What else have you planned for the show?
Well, as I was telling Mary, I think that I ought to... Well, that must be the waiter. Come in.
Room service.
Oh, yes. Come in, waiter. Mary, what do you want to eat?
Oh, I don't know. Waiter, let me see that menu.
Here you are, kid.
Mary, let me look at it. Let's see. Beef stew, wieners and sauerkraut, goulash, spaghetti and meatballs, porterhouse steak. Say, that's reasonable for a porterhouse.
That's the old price. We had to raise it.
Oh. How much is it now?
45 cents.
Wow.
Jack.
Huh?
Can't we go somewhere else?
Don't worry about me. The food is fine here.
Oh, all right. Waiter, have you any lamb chops?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have that, too.
Waiter, we'll all have lamb chops.
Yes, sir. Would you mind saving the bones for the guests in the next room?
What?
He always likes something to eat after his last show.
Never mind, waiter. Go get the food.
Oh, say, Jack, you started to tell me something about the program.
Oh, yes, Don. Now, look at it. Well, I was planning to play my violin. And then after the commercials, I thought we would do Allen's Alley.
Allen's Alley?
Yes, Mary, look. You see, Fred Allen has been off the air for nearly a year, and as long as we're here in New York, I thought it'd be a nice touch to bring back those wonderful people who lived in Allen's Alley.
Oh, that's a swell idea, Jack.
I'm glad you like it, Don, because I've already hired Kenny Delmar, Parker Fenley, Peter Donald.
Well, who's going to play the part of Fred Allen?
I am, Mary, and you'll be Portland.
But, Jack, do you think we can play those parts?
Certainly, Mary. Look, here's exactly how it'll go on the program. Now, first, I'll put a clothespin on my nose like this. Now, wait till I fix it here on the nose. I have to sound like... Wait a minute. And then you say...
Oh, Mr. Allen! Mr. Allen!
Well, Portland. Gee. Well, Portland, I see you're reading the newspaper. What's new?
Well, here's an interesting item in the personal column.
A personal ad? Read it to me.
Here it is. Two handsome young men with sniffles would like to meet two attractive young ladies with fever. Object to share 4-way cold tablets.
Yeah, what's romance? Come on, Portland, let's go down to Allen's Alley.
And what is your question tonight?
My question tonight is, do you think television will replace radio?
Shall we go?
As the man said when he stepped on his bathroom scales, I'm on my way. Well, things look kind of quiet here in Allen's Alley, but I think Senator Claghorn is home. I can smell the aroma of poached possum. I'll knock on his door.
Somebody say somebody pizzicato my pie.
Yes, Senator.
Big up, don't stand there spinning your pivot tooth. It makes me dizzy.
Well, Senator...
Get to the point, son. I'm busier than a bubble dancer with a slow lead.
All right, Senator, but
Make it fast, son. I'm packing. Leaving for Florida, that is.
Oh, is this your first trip?
Son, I've spent so much time down in Florida, people think I'm Mayor O'Dwyer.
Now, look.
That's a joke, son.
I know.
Well, you ain't laughing when you hear a joke. You're supposed to yuck it up.
All right. Now, look, Senator, I have a question I'd like to ask you. Do you think television will ever replace radio?
Well, I don't know about that, son, but I do know that television will play a big part in the next presidential election.
What do you mean, Senator?
Well, now, there won't be any campaign speeches in 1952. For the Democrats, Margaret will sing, and little old Harry will play the piano.
I see.
Yeah, and the Republicans... the Republicans, they're going to make a song and dance team out of Taft and Hartley.
Well, Senator, if television will play such a big part, who do you think will win the next election?
Milton Berle. So long, son. So long.
My, the Senator is a windy one. I'll pick up my hat and go next door. I wonder if Titus Moody is in.
Howdy, Bub.
Say, Titus. Say, Titus, what's the matter? You look like you've been crying.
All night long.
Crying all through the night? What's wrong?
Oh, my friend Lem Hawkins. He up and died.
Oh, that's a shame. When did Lem die?
Last spring.
Wait a minute, Mr. Moody. How come you're crying now if Lem went last spring?
He died during the planting season. I was too busy then.
How old was Lem?
97.
Died of old age, eh?
No. It was an accident.
An accident?
He worked over at the maple syrup factory.
Yes?
One day he slipped, fell into a vat of maple syrup, sweetened himself to death.
No.
Yep. That was last spring, and they're still fighting the ants off his grave.
Well, Mr. Moody, enough about the sacker and Mr. Hawkins. I'd like to ask you a question.
Make it fast, Bub. I got to go slop the hogs.
Mr. Moody, do you think television will replace radio?
Why, no. The farmers, they'll never go for television.
Why not?
Well, sir, I bought a television set myself, put it in the hen house to step up egg production.
And did it work?
Well, first I tuned in the wrestling matches for them. That didn't do any good.
It didn't?
No. When Gorgeous George come on, the hens would just sit there and pant.
Uh-huh.
Then I tuned in Faye Emerson.
Yes?
I'd just sit there and pant.
I see.
Finally, I found the program that made the hens lay eggs. Hopalong Cassidy.
How did Hoppy make those hens produce?
Well, sir, every time Hoppy shot his gun, they'd lay an egg.
No.
Yep. It was a pleasure to watch Hoppy in a six-reeler. Him a shooting and them a laying.
So now you're prosperous.
Well, I would have been, but in one picture, Hoppy double-crossed me.
Hoppy double-crossed you? How?
Why, he pulled out a machine gun. All my hens dropped dead trying. Well,
I wonder who I'll find in this next now.
Well, there's Jack Cassidy.
It's good to see you again.
The same to you, Ajax. But wait, you have a black eye.
I have, me boy. It's a badge of honor I acquired last night during a practice at Kerrigan's Cozy Corner.
You mean you were in a fight? Tell me what happened.
I will. Last night, you see, I entered Kerrigan's Cozy Corner. A peaceful man. With nothing on me mind but the delights of a tall foaming glass of beer.
Yes?
So I ordered me beer, you see. And over comes Kerrigan and questions me credit.
I see.
Well, when Kerrigan cast aspersions on me credit, we exchanged a few words.
Uh-huh.
Then we exchanged a few blows.
Uh-huh.
And Kerrigan started hitting me over the head with a bottle of 4 Roses.
And what happened next?
He switched to Calvert.
Well, Ajax, the question I'd like to ask you tonight is, do you think television will replace radio?
Well, now, me boy, that's a hard question to answer. You see, in my house, we have both a television set and a radio.
I see. And what do you listen to most?
My wife. Goodbye to you, boy.
That brings us to the last little house in Allendale. I wonder who we'll find here.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
Why, Mr. Kitzel.
Tell me, Mr. Kitzel, what are you doing here in New York?
Well, Mr. Allen, last week in Hollywood, I was walking down Sunset Boulevard, and as I passed a radio station, a man with a hook dragged me into a quiz program.
A quiz program?
Yeah, they asked me questions. I gave them answers. And the next thing I know, I'm spending 2 glorious weeks in the Bronx.
Well, that's wonderful. Tell me, Mr. Kitzel, are you having a good time?
Mr. Allen, every night a different show.
Really? What shows have you seen since you've been here?
Oh, I saw The Rat Race, Death of a Salesman, Miss Liberty, and last night I saw Max's Little Darling.
You mean Texas, Little Darling?
No, Max's Little Darling. I had dinner with my brother Max's wife.
Oh.
Some little darling. She weighs 240 pounds.
240 pounds?
On the present rate of exchange.
Well, getting back to the original question, I'd like to ask your honest opinion. Do you think television will replace radio?
For this, I'm in no position to venture an opinion.
You're not, eh?
No. I'll admit that I didn't rush out to buy one. Being very practical, I listened first to what people were saying about it, whether they were making them good enough, and whether it was worth the investment. And after debating to myself pro and con, I finally decided it was here to stay, so last week I went out and bought one.
A television set?
No, a radio.
And what a display of confidence. Well, that's all I wanted to know. Goodbye, Mr. Kitzel.
Goodbye, Mr. Denny.
What?
With those blue eyes, you didn't fool me for 1 second.
Well, thank you.
Good night. The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained America's largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory.
Prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample leaves from all tobacco-growing areas to this great laboratory for scientific analysis to help determine which tobaccos are really fine. And this is only one phase of the constant research that helps make possible Lucky Strike's unconditional guarantee. Check the cigarette you're now smoking. Among all leading brands, only the makers of Lucky Strike put an unconditional guarantee on the pack. So, smoke a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 weeks, Jack Benny and his troupe have been in New York. So now let's pick them up on the Super Chief en route to Los Angeles. Mary and Jack are playing a game of gin rummy.
You sure are lucky, Mary. I play better gin than you do, and yet you always win.
Well, it's your own fault, Jack. You don't concentrate on the card.
I do, too. Now, let's see. I know you have 3 nines, 3 queens, and a 6, 7, and 8 of hearts. So I know you can't use this card. Here's the deuce of spades.
Gin.
Gin? Let me see your hand.
There you are. 3 8s, 4 kings, and 3 deuces.
Wait a minute. Where are those 2 nines you picked up?
That was yesterday.
Well, go ahead and deal the cards again. See, I never played in such bad luck in all my life.
Hey, Jackson, you got a corkscrew?
Here you are, Phil.
Thanks.
See, I hope I have better luck with this hand than I...
Pick up your card.
Okay. I hope I...
Jack, pick up your last card. Whoops.
Oh, boy. What a hand this is. Mary, I'm warning you. Any card you throw, I can use. Go ahead, throw one.
It's your turn first.
Oh, yes. Here.
Gin. Jack, it wasn't my fault. Stop pulling my hair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. I didn't mean to get so excited. Well, that's enough gin rummy for me. What do I owe you?
$5.20.
All right, I'll pay you tomorrow.
Oh, Jack, you always say that. Why don't you pay up as soon as you lose?
Because it's so inconvenient.
I don't care. Take off your shoe and pay me.
All right, I'll pay you. Turn around.
Turn around? Just going to go you take your shoe off?
The 5s are pinned to my underwear. Here's your money.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You know, Mary, you're the luckiest
Hey,
person...
Jackson, you got a bottle opener?
Here you are, Phil.
Thanks.
As I was saying, Mary, you're the luckiest person I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm not lucky. You just don't know how to play gin rummy.
Oh, I don't, eh? Well, I'll tell you what. You won $5 from me. I'll play you one more hand, double or nothing.
All right.
And we'll use this other deck. Now, shuffle them and shuffle them good.
Okay.
Show you.
If they're shuffled enough, Mr. Benny, I'll deal.
Wait till I cut them, sister. There. Go ahead and deal.
Just a minute.
You don't have to roll up your sleeves. I trust you. Go ahead and deal. This time, Mary, I'll show you that you can't be lucky all the time. There's a law of averages, you know.
Okay, pick up your card.
I got 'em. Well, this is more like it. Now, let's see. This card I don't need. Here.
I don't want that one. I'll pick. Here, I'll give you this one.
Oh, boy, right in the middle. I go down with 6.
Well, you caught me this time. I'm stuck with 24 points.
Good. Where's the pencil?
Put your cards down first.
There. Now, let's see. 6 from 24. That gives me...
Oh, wait a minute. I can put the 7 and 8 on your heart run.
Where? Oh, yes.
But that still leaves me with 9.
You're darn right. 6 from 9 gives me...
Oh, wait a minute. I can play my deuce on your 3 deuces.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, yeah, but you're still stuck with 7, and 6 from 7 gives me...
Hello, kids.
Oh, hey, Don, I just clipped Mary.
Oh, stop bragging. I only got stuck with this 7 of clubs.
7 of clubs? Well, Mary, why don't you put it on these 4, 5, 6?
Oh, yes.
What?
That leaves me with nothing. You lose.
Don.
Yes, Jack?
Every year you're voted as radio's best announcer, aren't you?
Well, yes, Jack.
Well, it shouldn't be hard for you to get another job. Now get out of here.
Oh, don't be such a sore loser.
He's right. What time we get to Los Angeles, Don?
8:45 tomorrow morning.
Gosh, another night on the train.
Hey, Jackson, you got any extra glasses in there?
Yes, there are 3 of them over there.
Thanks.
Say, Jack, I'm a little hungry. How about sandwiches?
All right, Mary, I'll go to the diner and get some. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Let's see, the diner's down this way. Gee, imagine them charging 95 cents for a sandwich. Do you hear that whistle down the line? I reckon that it's engine number 99. All those prices that you have to pay on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Sand. Let's see, the diner must
I beg your pardon, mister.
Yeah?
Could you tell me which way the engine is?
The engine? Oh, yes, you're going in the wrong direction. It's the other way. Why do you want to know?
I'm the engineer.
The engineer? Hey! I hope he finds it before we reach Los Angeles. It'll be the first time I ever went to Catalina by rail. Now, let's see. The diner should be in this next car.
Well, from what you told me, Rochester, I don't see how Mr. Bennett got along without you.
Uh-oh. There's Rochester in the washroom talking to one of the porters. I got to listen to this.
Anything else you want to know, Roy? Yeah, besides writing Mr. Bennett's radio show, what else you do for him?
Well, I'm his publicity agent, manager, and last but not least, his personal advisor.
Oh, well, are you going to let Mr. Bennett go on television?
Well, we'll be happy to discuss any offers.
Oh, why did you say that so loud?
I want people to hear. We ain't had any yet. Yes, sir, Mr. Bennett won't do a thing without my approval.
Rochester, another thing I've been wanting to ask you. How old is Mr. Bennett?
39.
39? Well, I thought that was just a joke on the radio.
Well, in the vernacular, we people in show business, that is known as a running gag.
Well, how long has it been running?
2 years longer than the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe.
Rochester!
Uh-oh.
Is that Mr. Bennett?
It ain't your host.
Rochester, I don't like you discussing my private affairs.
Yes, sir.
And will you please go to the diner and get some ham sandwiches for me and Miss Livingston?
Boss, would you mind making that cheese?
Why?
I just told Roy I was your personal advisor.
All right. Just get the sandwiches.
Yes.
And take that sign off your back. I'm not considering television till next year. I think he'd know better than to talk about me in front of strangers. Let's see. Oh, here's Mary's compartment.
Gee, it took you a long time. Where are the sandwiches?
I sent Rochester. Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Say, kid, I haven't seen you all day. What have you been doing?
Oh, I was in the club car looking out the window, counting the telephone poles. I wanted to see if my mother was right.
What?
Well, she says there are 119,726 poles between Kansas City and Albuquerque.
Well, how would your mother know?
She dug the holes for them.
Why do I ask them? Why do I ask them?
Say, Jack, would you like to play a little more gin rummy till the sandwiches get here?
Well, all right, Mary. Move over, Don. Keep your mouth shut.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Jack, I haven't seen your riders since we left New York. Are they on this train?
No, they took another one.
Well, why don't you have them come with us? Are you ashamed of them?
Ashamed of them? Of course not. My 4 riders are very famous. 3 of them have their pictures in the Brown Derby, and the other has his in the post office.
Oh, yes. Dead or alive, Sam.
Yeah. Mendel's got a private room. Say, this is a pretty good hand you dealt me.
Hey, Mr. Benny, why don't you put those two kings together?
Be quiet. You're giving my whole hand away. And anyway, they're queens.
Gee, if she just throw you the seven of spades, you could go right down.
Dennis! Well, let's see. I'll give you this one, Mary. The eight of hearts.
I'll take it. And here's the three of diamonds.
I don't need it. I'll pick. Oh, that's a beaut. Now, let's see. What'll I give you?
Give her the end card.
No. I'll give her this one. Here.
I'll take it. Here, Jack, I'll give you this one.
I don't need it. I'll pick. Now, let's see.
Give her the end card.
No, you saw what she picked. I'll give her this one.
Oh, no, not that card. Give her the end card.
Well, maybe you're right. She did pick up those other two. Here, Mary.
Gin.
Dennis.
I guess I've only got one show now.
Look, Ed, why don't you go back to the club car and count telephone poles?
No, I got to practice my song for Sunday's broadcast, so I'll see you later.
What song going to do this Sunday, Dennis?
The Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes from Walt Disney's new picture, Cinderella. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, sing it. Do anything. Just leave me play. Deal, Mary.
Dennis, that was wonderful.
Thank you, Mary.
It was great, kid, but when you do it on the show... Now, listen, Dennis, sing it a little faster because we're kind of tight for time.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, Mary. It's your draw.
Hey, Jackson.
What?
You got a couple aspirin?
So you finally got yourself a little headache, eh? Well, don't expect any sympathy from me, Phil.
Gin.
No thanks, Mary. I've had all
Gin sometimes can mean something else. Mary, look, this hand doesn't count because I wasn't watching. Now, deal the cards again.
Come in.
Telegram from Mr. Harris.
Oh, I'll take it, Porter. Here, this is for you.
$1. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Well, go ahead and read it, Phil. What does it say in the dollar? In the telegram? Go ahead, Phil, read it.
Let's see. Oh, no.
Well, who's it from, Phil?
The boys in my band.
What does it say?
Hurry home, we're in again. Well, look, I better send them a wire, tell them when I'm going to arrive. See you later, huh?
Well, come on, Jack. Let's finish our game of gin.
No, Mary. I'm going out to look for Rochester and see what's taking him so long with the sandwiches.
Okay, and hurry back. I'm starved.
Okay, Mary. Gee, this trip has been exciting. Saw the Mississippi, the Grand Canyon, a $1 tip. Oh, well. Oh, there's a cute little baby. Do you mind if I hold him, madam?
No, not at all.
Hello, baby. Look at him. He's so cute. And his eyes are the same color as mine. Lake Louise blue. How old is he, lady?
39.
What?
Weeks.
Oh. You know, lady, yesterday when you were in the diner, I came through here and I played with him. Didn't I, baby?
Gin.
He's luckier than Mary. Here, take him back, lady. You have a lovely child.
Thank you.
You'll find $5 he won pinned to his diaper. What a little doll that baby is.
Excuse me. Oh, it's you, Jack. I was just going up to the diner.
Oh. Well, Don, I sent Rochester up there for some sandwiches. If you see him, hurry him up, will you?
All right, I will.
Oh, Don, before you go, there's something I got to tell you. The most amazing thing happened a little while ago.
What is it, Jack? What happened?
Well, I was in Mary's compartment with Phil when the porter brought him a telegram.
Yes?
And Phil gave him a $1 tip.
Well, what about it?
What about it? Don, he gave him a $1 tip. $1 just for bringing him a telegram. He didn't press his suit or anything.
Well, Jack, there's nothing unusual about that.
You mean that you...
Certainly, all the time.
Gosh.
Jack, in these times when you're in a hotel or on a train and people do a personal service for you, it's customary to give them a $1 tip.
It is?
Yes, and you might as well get used to it.
I will not. All right, Don, you go on to the diner. I'll see you later.
Oh, wait a minute, Jack. I just remembered something. I've got a surprise for you.
A surprise?
Yes. Step right over here to compartment H.
Gee, I wonder what the... Right here?
Yeah. Open the door.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, the Sportsman Quartet. Hello, fellas. John, what are they doing on the train?
Oh, they got on at Albuquerque. They've been there all week on a personal appearance.
Well, Don, I'm glad the boys are with us and that they'll be on the show Sunday. Are they happy that they're going home? You know, back to Los Angeles?
Ooh, are they? Listen to this, Jack. We love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in our hometown. Though it may shower most any hour, they'll never ever let you drown. They read Llewellyn from Friday to Monday, in fact the whole week through. We may have fog, smog, or sun on Sunday. It makes no difference, no one's blue. We feel so welcome at Hollywood and fine. Love to eat inside that derby they call brown. The gray tar pits, the farmers market, they're all a part of our hometown. There is something in the air that you can't find anywhere. When the smudge hot smudge, you never feel the heat. There's a Chinese picture show that's at Ramen Runs, you know, where they have cement for stars to put their feet. We love those dear, dear hearts and lucky people who smoke in our hometown. They smoke those luckies because the luckies will never ever let you down. They are so free and so easy on the draw. Take a tip from one who knows and you will see. There ain't a rough puff, it's fine tobacco, so like an LSMFT. It's always LSMFT. Yes, LSMFT.
Fellas, that was great. It'll be wonderful on the show. Well, Don, I think I'll go back and play a little more gin with Mary and then have the berth made up and go to sleep.
I'm going to turn in early, too.
Okay, Don. See you later. I'll soon be back home in California, and I'll pay my income tax when I get there. And if I have to, I'll play my fiddle in the middle of old Pershing Square. Well, about another hour of gin, and I'll go to bed.
Oh, boy, this berth feels good. It's nice to be able to stretch out.
Yeah, but stop stretching over to my side, will you, Jack?
I'm sorry, Don.
I don't know why you insist on traveling like this. These berths are only built for one.
Don, you know as well as I do, it's hard to get accommodations on the super cheap. We're lucky we're in here.
I suppose so. Anyway, I'm too cramped to argue.
All right, then, drop it.
You don't have to get huffy about it, you know.
Look, I'm not getting huffy.
Hey, fellas, be quiet. How do you expect me to sleep here between you two?
I'm sorry, Dennis. Good night, Don.
There he goes, Don. Every night it's the same thing, snoring and mumbling.
Ah, don't worry, kid. We'll be home tomorrow.
I'd like to punch him right in the nose.
Shut up!
I can't go to sleep.
Well, Dennis, why don't you try counting sheep?
Counting sheep?
Yeah.
Well, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's a sheepdog. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Jim.
luggage will be taken to the cab stand.
Ah, well, Mary, here we are, home at last.
Can I brush you off, Miss Livingston?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Can I brush you off, Mr. Day?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Brush you off, Mr. Wolfen?
Please.
Now, Don, if you'll turn around, he can brush your back.
Never mind. Brush you off, Mr. Benny?
Yes, please. Thank you, Porter. Here.
I'm sorry, I don't have change for that dollar, Mr. Benny.
I don't want change. Keep it. This dollar's for you. Come on, Mary. I love those dear hearts and gentle people.
Gee, it's good to be home, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah. Let's go over here to the cab stand.
Extra, get your paper here. Extra, read all about it. Jack Benny tips Porter $1.
Yeah, I knew it would be in the papers, but how did they get it so soon? Come on, Mary. Everybody's staring at me.
Train leading on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
Oh, boy, even he sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Heart Association has set a goal of $6 million to be used for research, for education, and for community service. Heart disease is our greatest challenge because it takes more lives than any other illness and causes tremendous disability.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, won't you please help support the 1950 Heart Campaign? Send your contributions to Jack Benny, Box 500, New York City. Jack will be back in just a moment, but first, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike, and that's because LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Listen to what Mr. J. Coy Smith, an independent tobacco warehouseman from Greenville, North Carolina, recently said.
I'm in my 37th year as a warehouseman, and down through the years, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine tobacco, light, ripe tobacco that makes mild, smooth smoking. I've smoked Lucky's for 31 years.
Millions of smokers, including the famous dancing star of stage and screen, Ray Bolger, take a tip from the experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, Mr. Bolger said,
cigarettes, like dancing, must be smooth to be really enjoyable. Naturally, I go for Lucky's fine tobacco.
And for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Well, Rochester, here we are at home. The house looks good, doesn't it?
Sure does, boss.
I'm going upstairs, take a shower, a shave, and get cleaned up.
Okay, boss, and while you're doing that, I'll unpack your bags.
No, Rochester, don't touch those bags.
Why not?
As soon as I get cleaned up, I got to rush back to the railroad station.
For what?
I got to catch a train. I'm going back to Washington for the White House Photographer's Ball.
But, boss, that don't make sense. If you're going right back to Washington, why'd you come all the way home from New York?
I told you to take a shower. There's a water shortage there. Have a cab here in 15 minutes. Good night, Claudette.
Send your contributions to the 1950 Heart Campaign to Jack Benny, Box 500, New York City. And be sure to hear Dennis Day in the day in the life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned to the Amos Sandy Show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Jack Benny program, transcribed, presented by Lucky Strike.
Let
your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained America's largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory. Prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample leaves from all tobacco-growing areas to this great laboratory for scientific analysis, to help determine which tobaccos are really fine. And this is only one phase of the constant research that helps make possible Lucky Strike's unconditional guarantee. Check the cigarette you are now smoking. Among all leading brands, only the makers of Lucky Strike put an unconditional guarantee on the pack. So smoke a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, last night Jack Benny was in Washington, D.C., where he was master of ceremonies for the annual White House Photographers' Ball. Immediately following the affair, he boarded a plane and flew back to Hollywood. And here he is, Jack Benny!
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, isn't it amazing how you can travel nowadays? Late last night, I was in Washington, D.C., and at 8 o'clock this morning, I was back in Hollywood.
Yes, Jack, the planes they have today really move fast.
They certainly do. It only took 9 hours. But it's a good thing we got in when we did. I was so hungry, I couldn't wait till I got home and had breakfast.
Well, Jack, why didn't you eat on the way in? They serve meals on the plane.
Yes, I know.
And there's no charge for them.
I was so... What? Don.
That's right, Jack. That's right. The meals don't cost you anything. It's included in your ticket.
How do you like that?
Jack, where are you going?
To the TWA ticket office. Somebody's going to take me to dinner. I don't care who it is, but somebody has got to... Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. How was your flight back from Washington?
Oh, pretty good.
Was it a nice, smooth trip?
Fairly smooth, Mary. Not bad at all.
You didn't get sick, did you?
No, although I did feel a little woozy, going over the mountains.
Well, maybe you overate.
Overate? Mary, I just found out. Don told me.
Told you what?
Never mind. I'll explain it later.
Well, Jack, tell us, how was the affair in Washington? I'll bet it was pretty classy, huh?
Classy? Don, you've never seen anything like it. The people I met, it was positively thrilling.
Who was there, Jack?
Who was there? President Truman, Vice President Barkley, General Eisenhower, General Bradley, Secretary of the Treasury Snyder, everybody.
Ah, Jack, that must have been wonderful. How did you feel when you met President Truman?
President Truman? Well, I didn't get to meet the president. You see, on my way over to shake hands with him, I came face to face with Vice President Barkley.
Oh, then you met the vice president.
Well, no. Just as I was about to say hello to the vice president, General Eisenhower came in, so naturally Mr. Barkley went over to greet him. And, kids, what a guy that Eisenhower is. What a personality. And so democratic. He shook hands with everybody.
Well, Jack, I certainly envy you. Years from now, you'll be able to say, I shook hands with General Eisenhower.
Well... You see, Don,
When General Eisenhower and Vice President Barclay were talking, I was going over to shake hands with them when in walked Dean Acheson. And naturally, I couldn't ignore the Secretary of State. He's really an impressive man. He makes everybody feel so relaxed, so at home.
Well, I'm glad you got to meet Mr. Acheson.
Huh?
You did meet Dean Acheson, didn't you?
Well, when Mr. Acheson walked in, I rushed over to him and stuck out my hand.
What did he do?
He handed me his coat, so I hung it up. It was an awkward situation.
Well, Jack, when Mr. Acheson handed you his coat, why didn't you tell him who you were?
Well, I didn't want to embarrass him.
You didn't want to return the tip either.
Yeah. Eisenhower gave me nothing. Anyway, it was a very exciting affair, and I was certainly glad to be there.
Jack, do you mean to say that with all the important people who were there, you didn't get to meet anybody?
Didn't get to meet anybody. For your information, sister, I spent most of the evening talking to David Quimby.
David Quimby? Who's he?
Well, if you don't know who David Quimby is, I'm not going to tell you. You ought to keep up on your national affairs, kid.
Who else was there, Jack?
Well, there was Air Secretary Symington, Senator Taft, Dr. Gallup, and... Oh, I must tell you a funny thing, Don. Last night after the dinner, Dr. Gallup was the first speaker, and he kept calling the president Tom. He just can't get over it. It's too bad you couldn't...
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello, Dennis. I was just telling Don and Mary about Washington.
Washington?
Yes, I was the master of ceremonies at the White House photographer's ball.
You horn in on everything, don't you?
I didn't horn in at all. I was invited. You know who else was there?
Who?
President Truman, Vice President Barclay, General Eisenhower.
Gosh, Mr. Benny, you're really important, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I guess I am.
Oh, don't be so modest. I'll bet you could go out now and get your own show.
Dennis, I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay, sit down, kid.
I don't have to sit down. I just wanted to ask you one question. Who's the star of this show?
My mother thinks I am.
Well, this is getting me nowhere. So come on, star. Let's have your song.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Come in.
Telegram for Jack Benny.
I'm Jack Benny.
Here you are.
Thank you. Hey, boy.
Yeah?
You didn't wait for me to give you a tip.
The last time I waited, the office sent out a St. Bernard.
What?
Before I got back, the brandy was 20 years old.
Never mind. Goodbye.
Jack,
What?
you dropped the telegram, so I opened it. It's from Washington.
From Washington? What does it say?
Dear Jack, I'm sorry I didn't get to talk to you longer, but I had 3 people waiting for a haircut. Signed, David Quimby.
Who's he?
Never mind. Sing your song. Mary, stop staring at me.
I begin to say goodnight, and then I heard my child in prayer, and for me some scarlet ribbons for my hair. All the stores were closed and shuttered. All the streets were dark and bare. In our town, no scarlet ribbon, not one ribbon for her hair. Through the night, my heart was aching. Just before the dawn was breaking, I peeked in, and on gay profusion lying there, lovely ribbons, scarlet ribbons for her hair. If I live to be 200, I will never know from where came those lovely scarlet ribbons for her.
That was Scarlet Ribbon, sung by Dinah Shore. And, very good, Fanny. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our featured attraction tonight, we're going to do a very important sketch. Dennis, you're going to be in it. You too, Mary. And Phil. Phil.
Just a minute, Quimby. I'm fixing up the music for the sketch you're going to do.
You're what?
You heard me. I'm fixing up the music. Right now, I'm going over the trombone player's part.
You? You're going over the trombone player's part? You don't know one note from another.
Who has to know notes?
What?
I'm going over it with a damp rag. He spilled beer on it.
Well, that you can do, yeah. Phil, why don't you get rid of these fellas? Get yourself another band.
Get rid of my boys? Frankie, Charlie, Cornelius?
Cornelius?
Why, not on your life, Jackson. These boys have stuck to me through thick and thin. The rough going, the one-night stands, the lean years.
Well, Phil, that reminds me of something I've always wanted to ask you. Why did you form an orchestra in the first place?
I had to, Dad.
You had to?
I had to. I wrote a little gem called That's What I Like About the South, and no other band would touch it with a fork.
With a fork isn't in here at all, you know. Well, in this case, necessity was the mother of nausea. But seriously, Phil, do you mean that all of your boys have been with you right from the start?
Yes, sir, Jackson, and that's why I wish you'd quit picking on them. They're conscientious musicians. They worry a lot.
Worry?
Sure. Now, take my drummer, Sammy, up there. Only 3 months ago, he had a full head of hair.
Only 3 months ago, and he's that bald now? Phil, what was he so worried about?
They said something nasty about him in downbeat.
Oh, well, that's a shame. You know, Phil, it's bad enough to be that bald, but why does he wax it? Anyway, Phil, we have a very important sketch to do tonight, and you're in it. You, Dennis, and Mary. Mary, will you hand me the scripts? They're under the table.
Sure, Jack. Here you are.
Thanks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we really have a surprise for you. For our feature attraction tonight, we're going to do our version of that thrilling radio mystery series, The Whistler. Wait a minute. Who are you?
I am the Whistler. I walk by night. I influence the lives of innocent people. And sometimes I even drive them to murder.
Well, I'm certainly glad you dropped in because tonight you can help me with the sketch we're going to do.
Jack, who are you talking to?
That man right there.
What man? I don't see anybody.
That man right there who was whistling.
Whistling? I didn't hear anybody, Jack.
Are you kids crazy? I'm telling you, there was a man standing right there. Dennis, you saw him, didn't you?
Yeah, he was a kind of a mysterious-looking fellow with a brown suit and a scowl on his face.
That's right. And what was he whistling?
Dear hearts and gentle people.
He was not! It was the Whistler's theme song.
Jack, what's the matter with you? You didn't see anybody, and neither did Dennis.
Well, I thought I did. Maybe it's because I got my mind all wrapped up in the play we're going to do. Now, Mary... Oh, who can that be? Hello?
Hello, boss. This is Rochester.
Rochester, how many times have I told you not to call me in the middle of a program?
But, boss, I had to call you. I got something I think you'll like.
What's that?
Well, you won't believe this, but this afternoon I sat down and wrote a commercial.
You wrote a commercial?
Yes, boss, and I liked it so much I got out your recording machine and made a record of it.
No kidding. Well, let's hear it.
Okay, just a minute. Listen to this. Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the lucky side of the street. Light an LSMFT, and you'll never have a rough puff. Life can be so sweet on the lucky side of the street. Just let your taste tell you why. Lucky Strike you should buy, and you'll say me, oh my. What smoothness and mildness, yes, it's LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Oh, hey. Oh, what mildness and smoothness, yes, it's LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Just direct your feet to the lucky, I said the lucky side of the street.
Rochester, that was wonderful.
I thought you'd like it.
I sure did. Goodbye, Rochester.
Goodbye.
Gee, fellas, I wish you could have heard the wonderful commercial Rochester sang to me over the phone.
Can we use it on the program sometime?
Sure, it's great. Now, where were we?
You're getting ready to do that play, Jackson.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we now offer you our version of that blood-curdling, thrilling radio murder mystery, The Whistler.
The lives of innocent people. I even drive them to murder. Let me take you to the home of Mr. and Mrs. Park, Gwendolyn and Griffith. As we look in on them, it's morning. And the sun is coming through the window. Nothing can stop that California sun. Mr. and Mrs. Parks are having breakfast. They are happy, but not for long. For I am the fiddler.
Gosh, Gwendolyn, this is a wonderful breakfast. I'm sure glad I'm married to you.
So am I, Griffith.
Where are the children?
We have no children.
Oh, then who is it that's always bringing me my slippers?
Our Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, the money I've wasted to have his teeth straightened.
Griffith, I have a surprise for you. My mother's coming to live with us.
Oh, bully, that's wonderful.
See, they're happy. But I'll change that.
Gwendolyn, when is your dear darling mother coming?
Tomorrow.
Oh, I'm glad you told me in time. Now I can buy her a present. I wonder what I should give her.
Why don't you give her a hit on the head?
No, Gwen, your father gave her that last year.
What did you say, dear?
I just answered your question.
But I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did.
You see? I have them confused already.
Well, I better finish my breakfast.
Yes, here's a great big bowl of cereal. Wait, I'll pour the cream on it for you. You can take your fingers out of your ears now. They've stopped crackling. Now eat your cereal.
Gee, that was a stubborn little one, wasn't it?
It certainly was, darling.
Darling. Come on, slug her with something. I've got other homes to break up.
What did you say, Griffith?
I didn't say anything. My mouth was full of the breakfast of champions. Well, I better finish my breakfast and hurry to the office.
Yes, Griffith. Hurry to your office. While your wife, Gwen, waits at home for her sweetheart, the milkman. She adores him. Look, he's coming up the walk now.
Won't you come with me to Alabama? Let's go see my dear old mammy.
Shut up! That song drives me nuts. All right, knock on the door. She's waiting for you.
Hello, baby.
Hello, Clyde. I've been waiting for you. Come on in.
Well, wait a minute. I got to get rid of this milk.
Why don't you drink it?
Who, me?
Go ahead, Clyde. Drink it. It'll be good for that pool table complexion. With those side pockets under your eyes.
Come here, baby. Pucker up. Give me a kiss.
Why, sure, Clyde.
Lay one on. I really thrilled you, eh, baby?
No, you're holding that cold milk bottle on my back. Oh, Clyde, you're so wonderful. Kiss me again.
You see? She's crazy about Clyde. Everybody's crazy about Clyde. But I'm the one they invited to Washington.
Gee, Glenn, I wonder what your husband would say if he caught you kissing me, his best friend.
Oh, I'd tell him you're congratulating me on my birthday.
But you've told him that 28 times this year. Ain't he getting wise?
No, but he's getting mad buying me all those presents. Gee, Clyde, you and I could be so happy together if it weren't for my husband.
Now you're on the right track.
Well, go ahead. Why don't you kill your husband?
Clyde, I just got an idea.
So did I. Let's kill Griffith.
It must be love we set it together.
That's it. Now we're getting somewhere. Go ahead. Kill him.
Kill him. You shut up. And take those braces off your teeth.
Gwen, I know how to kill your husband.
How?
Let's open a window and smog him to death.
No, Clyde, I have a better way. When he comes home, you hide in the closet. When he hangs up his coat, you can strangle him. And no one will ever know.
No one will ever know. Except me. For I am the fiddler. it's evening. The office is closed, and Griffith, the unsuspecting husband, is walking home without a care on his mind.
Gee, it'll be nice to get home to my loving wife, Gwendolyn. I feel sorry for her. She's alone all day.
Are you sure she's alone?
Of course I'm sure. About twice a week, our best friend Clyde drops in, but that's only on her birthday.
Don't be a fool. Your wife is in love with Clyde. Hurry home. You'll find them together.
All right, I'll go home and see for myself. Gee, I better be prepared. Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you!
You see what I mean? Here are three innocent people, and I have planted the seed of suspicion, which will soon grow into murder. Ain't I a stinker?
Oh, pardon me. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
I'm from TWA. Here's a sandwich and keep your big mouth shut.
Thank you.
And now to get back to our story. Clyde is hiding in the closet, and Griffith is about to enter the house.
Darling, you're home early.
Yes, Gwendolyn.
Stop stalking. Ask her about Clyde. Go on, ask her.
Huh?
Ask her about Clyde.
Darling, was Joe here?
Not Joe. That was yesterday. It's Clyde today. Now, come on, Griffith, come on. You gotta get murdered.
And hurry up or we'll be in the middle of Amos and Andy.
Go on, open that closet door.
No, I don't want to. I'm afraid.
Come on, don't be a coward. Open that closet door.
No.
Go on. Put your hand on that knob.
That's it.
Now turn it. Good. Now open the door.
Folks, come with me to Alabama. There we'll meet my dear old mammy. She's frying eggs. Ooh.
Griffith, you shot him.
No, Gwen, I didn't shoot him.
Well, somebody did. I wonder who.
Thank you.
Jack will be back in just a moment, but first...
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike, and that's because LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness with never a rough puff.
Listen to what Mr. Al Rogers, an independent tobacco auctioneer from Robertsonville, North Carolina, recently said.
Year after year, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine, prime, ripe tobacco. Tobacco that's just right for mild, good smoking. I've smoked Luckies for 10 years.
Millions of smokers, including the famous screen star Hedy Lamarr, take a tip from the experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, the glamorous Hedy said,
"A good cigarette is like a good movie, always enjoyable. That's why it's Lucky's for me."
For your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment,
light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be with you again next Sunday night when we will have as our guest a very famous daughter of a very famous father, Miss Sarah Churchill.
Be sure to hear Dennis Day in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Jack, Mary, Dennis, Don, Phil, and Rochester came to you transcribed. Now stay tuned to Amos and Andy, which follows immediately over most of these same CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Jack Benny Program, transcribed and presented by Lucky Strike, the cigarette that's toasted to taste better.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained America's largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory. Prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample tobacco leaves from all tobacco growing areas to this great laboratory for scientific analysis, to help determine which tobaccos are really fine. And this is only one phase of the constant research that helps guarantee smoothness and mildness in every single Lucky Strike you smoke. So, smoke a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again it is my pleasure to introduce the star of our show. And since today is March the 5th...
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Phil Harris, the one and only...
Phil. That introduction was for me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad, but when Donzie said 5th, I just naturally opened my mouth.
Well, cork it up again and sit down. Continue, Don.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the month of March. And as you all know, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a ham. And here he is... Jack Benny.
Thank you. This is Jack Benny talking, and Donzie boy, for your information, the word is lamb, not ham.
Oh, I know, Jack. I was only trying to be cute.
Well, Don, when I want something your size to be cute, I'll get an elephant that toe dances. So the next time...
Oh, Jack, let's not start off the program with an argument.
Mary, please. I'm admonishing Don for being overly facetious. That new writer I've got is working out swell. Anyway, Don, there are more interesting things to talk about in the month of March.
Oh, you're right, Jack. I guess I could have talked about March 21st.
Yes, that's the first day of spring.
Or March 17th.
That's St. Patrick's Day.
Or March 15th.
That's... Yay! Mary, don't make me nervous.
Hey, Jackson, what's so exciting about March the 15th?
Well, since you don't seem to know, Phil, I'll tell you. March 15th is the day you pay your income tax.
Income tax? What's that?
Phil, income tax is a portion of a man's salary that is sent to the government to help the financial support of the country.
Gee, this is interesting.
Certainly. As a matter of fact, when a man receives a salary check, it already has a basic deduction of 20%.
20%?
That's 1/5.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Phil Harris. Sorry, Dad, it slipped out subconscientiously.
Well, go sit down. Anyway, if I'm going to discuss income tax, I should talk to Alice, not to one of her dependents.
Jack, why do you keep insulting Phil like that? You treat him like he's a nobody. And he's got a lot of talent.
Tell him, Libby, lay it on him.
He has a great personality and a lot of charm.
Loaded with it.
He even writes his own songs and leads a band.
Keep talking, Bon Emmy. You ain't scratched the surface.
He also sings and makes records.
Oh, well, won't you come with me to Alabama? Let's go see my dear old mammy.
And not only that,
He...
What's the matter?
Just talking about him made me sick.
I know what you mean, Mary. Now, look, kids. Hey, you had a lot to do today, didn't you? Look, kids, let's not waste any more time. I want to see that everything is right before our guest star arrives. As you know, we're going to be honored today by the presence of one of England's most famous daughters, Miss Sarah Churchill.
Oh, she's the daughter of Winston Churchill, isn't she?
Yes, Don. When she gets here, I want everybody on their good behavior. In fact, I made a few notes on that subject. Mary, did I give you the paper with the notes on it?
Well, yes, Jack, here it is.
Good. Read it, will you?
Okay. To the boys in the orchestra. If the musical arrangement calls for the trombone section to be muted, please hold a derby in front of the horn instead of stuffing your socks into it.
That's right. That's right, Mary. Very good.
And to those who have no tuxedos, keep your coats buttoned so the bibs to your overalls don't show.
Yeah. And another thing, kids, when Miss Churchill arrives, I want everybody to stand up. Now, come on, let's rehearse it once. Everybody, including the orchestra. Stand up. Very good, very good. Now, sit down. Now, Mary, you're the only girl in the cast, so I think it's up to you. Oh, that must be Miss Churchill now. Come on, everybody. Up. That's it. Good. Coming.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come on, kid.
Why is everybody standing up?
Well, that's to show respect.
Well, it's about time. I've got 2 shows, you know.
Sit down, boys. Dennis, for your information, we were expecting Miss Sarah Churchill.
Who's she?
Who's she? Miss Churchill is not only a great actress, but she also happens to be the daughter of Winston Churchill.
Who's he?
Dennis, think back to the years of the war.
Okay.
Now, who was it who went from London to Casablanca? Then the next thing you heard, he was in Paris, Tehran, Yalta, and Potsdam. Now, who was it?
Bob Hope.
Yeah, and Jerry Colonna was in the House of Lords. Anyway, since Bob Hope's daughter, Sarah Churchill, hasn't arrived yet, let's have your song, will you?
Okay.
They met in the spring under blossoming trees. A song of romance seemed to dance on the breeze. And who saw him kiss her and whisper of all the blossoms, pretty blossoms on the bough? He left her a dream and a tear in her eye, a kiss on her lips to remember him by. Who said forget him, but didn't say how. The blossoms, pretty blossoms on the bough. Oh, sometimes words may be spoken that later prove untrue, and sometimes a promise is broken as hearts are broken too. A year has gone by, it's springtime again. She waits all alone and she sighs now and then. Who knows her story and weeps with her now? The blossoms, pretty blossoms on the bough.
Sung by Dennis Day. And, Dennis, that was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And you want to know something, kid?
What?
I don't mind praising you and giving you compliments because You haven't got a head for it to go to.
Thank you.
And now, oh, kids, I almost forgot. When Miss Churchill gets here, I'm going to invite her over to my house for dinner this evening. I want you all to come.
Well, it's about time, Jackson. I haven't had dinner at your house since September the 10th.
Now, wait a minute, Phil. It hasn't been that long since you've had dinner at my house.
It was September the 10th, and I got the canceled check to prove it.
God, how time flies. Anyway, kids, don't forget to be at my... Oh, that must be Miss Churchill now. All right, everybody. Up. Coming. Well, hello, Miss Churchill.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come in, Miss Churchill. Come in.
Mr. Benny, why is the orchestra standing up?
Well, I thought it was a kind of a nice thing to do. You know?
Oh, I see. Thank you. That chap in the Shakespearean costume is rather cute.
The Shakespearean costume?
Yes. That fellow at the drums. He's wearing tights.
Tights? Oh, my goodness, Sammy forgot his pants. Sit down, gentlemen, and fast. Well, Miss Churchill, it's really swell seeing you again. The last time I saw you was during my visit to London.
That's right. You were appearing at the Palladium Theatre.
Yes, and you know, I never did get a chance to thank you. It was nice of you to come backstage to see me.
It was nice of you to ask me.
And it was nice of you to attend my opening.
It was nice of you to sell me a ticket.
Yes. But, gee, I was thrilled in London. All those historical sites there, Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey, Piccadilly Circus, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the changing of the...
Mr. Benny.
Uh-huh?
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is in Italy.
Oh. Well, doesn't it lean over into London just a little? You know, maybe a teensy-weensy bit?
I'm afraid not.
Well... Live and learn, I always say. Oh, Miss Churchill, I'd like you to meet the members of my cast. You remember Mary. You met her in London.
Hello, Miss Churchill. Hello, Mary. Oh, please, everybody call me Sarah.
Well, thank you. And Sarah, this is my orchestra leader, Phil Harris. I'm sure you remember him. He also appeared with us at the Palladium.
Oh, yes. Old ham hocks and turnip greens.
That's me.
He's proud of it yet. Now, Sarah, this is my announcer, Don Wilson.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, I'm thrilled, Miss Churchill, and I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you that I've always been a great admirer of your father.
Well, thank you. In fact, we all admire your father.
That's right, Mary.
What does he do?
Phil.
I didn't say nothing wrong. What does he do?
He's a painter.
Very good, Sarah, but on him it was lost. Now, let's see. Oh, yes, there's just one more member of the cast I'd like you to meet. This is our singing star, Dennis Day.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
How do you do, Miss Churchill? Beautifully jolly of you to guest on our little wireless jamboree today. You're bubble and squeak and a penny a pitch.
Now, Dennis, be sensible or I'll have to admonish you for being facetious.
What does that mean?
I'm going to crush your head like an egg. So watch it, kid.
By the way, Sarah, are you enjoying your stay in America? Oh, very much. There are certain things that still puzzle me. Puzzle you? What are they? Well, your movies, for instance. Last night I went to see a very funny picture called Francis. It's an amazing story about a talking mule.
A talking mule? Yeah, that is amazing.
Yes. Such grammar.
Grammar?
I know exactly what you mean, sir. I seen Francis, and once when that mule was talking, instead of the past perfect tense, to use the past indicative and wound up with a dangling participle.
Well, now, that's very interesting, Mr. Harris. Are you a student of grammar?
Yes, ma'am. There ain't nothing I don't know about English.
Well, Sarah, now that you've paid us the compliment of being with us today, is there anything we can do to entertain you? Is there anything you'd like to see? One of our sketches or, well, anything?
Well, Jack, I've always listened to your program, and years ago you used to do Western sketches in which you played the part of Buck Benny.
Uh-huh.
Well, I always enjoyed those so much. Would it be possible for you to do one today?
You mean Buck Benny rides again? Why, certainly. Gosh, we haven't done that for so long. It'll be fun for us, too.
Do you think you could find a part in it for me?
You? In a Western? I mean, playing the part of a cowgirl?
Well, Jack, I think I could do it so well you wouldn't even have to admonish me.
Admonish you?
Yes. You've been using that word as though it was something new.
Well, it is to me. You see, I have a new writer now. But there is a part in the sketch of a school marm that I think you would enjoy doing.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Sarah, I've been meaning to ask you, for being a guest on Jack's program, is he paying you in dollars or pounds?
Well, to be frank, Mary, when I brought up the subject of money, Jack said we could settle that after the show.
Oh, brother.
Why, what's wrong?
Now you're going to find out what your father meant by blood, sweat, and tears.
Mary, stop that. Now, if we're going to do our sketch, let's get started. Now, come on, Don, you set the scene, and then
Mr. Benny, have you got a part for me in it?
Huh? Oh, Mel Blanc. Now, let's see. Yes, Mel, I may have a part for you, but it won't be very important, you know.
Oh, I don't care. I'll do anything. Really, Mr. Benny, I don't care.
Well, fine, Mel, fine. Now, Don, set the scene. So... Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
What is it, Rochester?
Just thought I'd tell you I'm preparing the dinner you're giving for Miss Churchill.
Good, good. How's the roast beef coming along?
Pretty good, boss, but I've never seen a piece of meat with so much fat on it.
What are you talking about? That roast wasn't so fat.
It wasn't. When it melted down, I oiled everything in the house, filled the car, and sold the rest to Glenn McCarthy.
Glenn McCarthy?
He's laying a pipeline tomorrow.
Rochester, stop being so silly. And don't forget, when you're making out the place cards, I want Miss Churchill to sit at my right.
Yes.
And by the way, Rochester, did you make that phone call?
Yes, sir. I called Washington like you told me to.
Uh-huh.
But they said that even though you're giving a dinner for someone from Europe, you have to pay for it yourself. It has nothing to do with the Marshall Plan.
Well, forget it. It was just a thought. See you later, Rochester. Goodbye.
Oh, say, boss.
Yes?
What time are you going to bring your guests for dinner?
Right after the program.
Oh, then I better go lock the door to the back porch.
Why?
You don't want people coming in to use the bendage while you've got company.
Well, I don't mind them using the machine, but hanging the clothes in the living room is murder. Last night I had some friends in, and we had to watch television through Ronald Coleman's underwear. Anyway, I'm glad you thought of that, Rochester. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Now, let's see. Where were we?
You were getting ready to start the sketch, Buck Benny Rides Again.
Oh, yes. Now, Sarah, the action of our play takes place way out west, where men are men and women are women.
Well, you can't ask for a better arrangement than that.
No, ma'am. All right, Don, set the scene. Buck Benny Rides Again.
Ladies and gentlemen, our play tonight opens at the ranch of that fearless, hard-riding cowboy, Buck Benny. Curtain music.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande. I learned to ride for I learned to stand, but I can't sing with this lousy band. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. Well, I better mosey down to the corral and see how my foreman, Cassidy, is doing. Oh, here he comes now.
Morning, Buck.
Morning, drag along. Say, Drag, what you blushing about?
Well, just a few minutes ago, I did something silly.
What was that?
I was sitting on my horse singing Empty Saddles.
I see what you mean. You're the only man I know who rides side saddle on both sides. Well, I'm going into town. I want to see what's going on at the Golden Nugget. So long, Drag Along.
So long, Buck. Easy getting up on that horse.
Don't worry about me. Steady, boys, steady. Steady there.
Buck, you're supposed to get up on the other side.
Oh, Mel don't care. Steady, boys, steady. Here we are. Giddy up, citation. Giddy up. Ah, here's the golden nugget. Whoa, boy. Doggone, just once I'd like to come in through the door. Now, there's my girlfriend, Calamity Livingston. Hiya, Calamity.
Hi, Buick.
Buick? That's Buck.
I'm sorry, those holes in your head fooled me.
Fools everybody. Well, Calamity, how about having a drink with me?
Don't mind if I do.
Good. Bartender, bourbon and water.
What's for the lady?
The water. Stand aside, Calamity. I want to hear some music. I'm going to play that jukebox at the other end of the room.
Have you got a nickel?
Who needs a nickel? See that coin slot?
Yep.
From this valley they say you're going. We shall miss your sweet face and your smile. Just because you are weary and tired, you are changing your rings for a while.
Then come sit here a while ere I leave you. Not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowgirl who loved you so true.
Oh, so true. There is never a rough, puffing lucky. It's a cigarette most people buy. 'Cause they're made up and fine like tobacco. Let your taste and your throat tell you why.
LSN, NFP in the moonlight. LSN, NFP through the day. It's for smoothness and mildness of lucky. LSN, NFP all the way.
All the way. LSN, NFP in Kentucky. LSN, NFP in Purdue. LSN, NFP in Saskatchewan. Lucky Strike, we love you. We
Well, Buck, how are things down at the... Why, Buck, you're crying.
Them ballads always get me. I guess because I'm the sentimental
Hey,
type.
Buck, I've been looking for you.
What's wrong, Dragalong?
Cattle rustlers just raided the new school marm's place.
Cattle rustlers, doggone, they've been terrorizing this area for nigh on to 20 years. Come on, let's rush over there. See you later, Calamity. There's the school marm's house over yonder. There we are. Whoa!
Ula mai ko dong wa chang wo dong yang men dong bu se te ka he tham ko nyo dong dong. À wo la sắp to wo la ma ling ta pa so ngai long.
Boy, he really threw me that time. Now, how am I ever going to get out of China?
You're not in China. Those are my houseboys.
Oh, who are you, ma'am?
I'm the new school mom, Sarah Jones, whose father has just bought the old Z-Bar Ranch. But the rustlers are trying to steal our cattle to force us to sell the land cheap because they know that the old abandoned mine under it really has a rich vein of gold which we do not know about at all, I reckon.
Well, that takes care of the plot. Can you talk a little more Western?
I sure can, partner.
Huh?
I reckon.
Good, good. Now, what's this I hear about cattle rustlers? They've been a-bothering you?
Yep. They took all my cows except that... Oh, look.
What's wrong?
There's an Indian coming towards us.
Oh, yeah. But he don't look dangerous. I'll talk to him. How? Me friend.
Me tired. Make long journey. Come all way from Hudson River.
Hudson River? Why they call river Hudson?
You have to step down to get into it.
Oh, well, what do you want?
Nothing. Me just come to do joke. Goodbye.
Just came to do the joke, eh? Watch this, Sarah.
Buck, you shot that poor Indian right through the head.
Oh, Mel don't care. Now tell me, Missy Ma'am, about those rustlers. You see any of them?
Yep, I saw the leader. He's a medium-built fella, kind of cute looking. He's a Mexican.
A Mexican?
Yep, here he comes now.
Whoa, tamale, whoa. Hello, senorita. You too, gringo. Stick up your hands, for I am the Mexican bandit, Senor Deniso McNulty.
So you're the bandit, eh?
Si, senor.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, hombre, robbing poor women.
Oh, I cannot help being a bandit, senor.
What do you mean you can't help it?
I won the giant jackpot on the radio quiz program, and I'm doing this to pay the taxes.
Oh.
What you do before you became a bandit?
Oh, senorita, I was a bullfighter. I was the most dashing, the boldest, the fightingest, the most reckless, the bravest, the most fearless bullfighter in all Mexico.
Well, why did you quit?
I'm a little yellow.
Senior McNulty, why don't you reform and get to be an honest citizen like Buck Bentley?
Like him? Ho, ho, ho. I am laughing.
Why? What's wrong with me?
You are supposed to be the great cowboy. Can you roll a cigarette with one hand?
Not on these programs. Now, Deniso, because we're a little late, I'll arrest you in the name of the law.
To arrest me, you must catch me first. Giddy up, Tamale, giddy up.
Quick, he went that way. Let's grab our pintos and we can head that hombre off at the pass, partner.
That was my line, Sarah, but you read it swell. Come on. Let's get our horses and chase him. We're a-gaining on him.
Yep. Why do we keep passing the same scenery?
They expect it in Western. Now, where's my gun? We're close enough for me to take a shot at him. I gotta take careful aim now. I got a beat on him. There. Oh.
Buck, what happened?
I shot my own horse. Look, my poor horse is dead.
Well, that's all right. Mel don't care.
Ah, yes. Now, come on, Sarah. Let's go to the Golden Nugget and play the jukebox.
Jack will be back in just a moment, but first...
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness with never a rough puff. Listen to what Mr. Linwood L. Sturdivant, an independent tobacco warehouseman from Lewisburg, North Carolina, recently said.
I've seen plenty of tobacco bought and sold, about 150 million pounds. And year after year, I've seen Lucky Strike by fine light leaf that makes extra enjoyable smoking. I've smoked Luckies for 11 years.
Millions of smokers, including the famous movie and television star Robert Montgomery, take a tip from the experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, Mr. Montgomery said,
Luckies are really smooth. That's why I smoke them regularly.
And for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Thank you very much, Miss Churchill. Good night, everybody.
Be sure to hear Dennis Day and a Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned for the Amos and Andy Show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
Let
your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained America's largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory. Prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample tobacco leaves from all tobacco-growing areas to this great laboratory for scientific analysis to help determine which tobaccos are really fine. And this is only one phase of the constant research that helps guarantee smoothness and mildness in every single Lucky Strike you smoke. So smoke a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and the Sportsman Quartet, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go out to Jack Benny's home in Beverly Hills, where, even as you and I, Rochester is filling out his income tax.
Let's see. Name, Rochester Van Jones. Occupation, butler, chauffeur, cook, gardener, valet, masseur, window washer, and composer of Time on My Hands. Now, let's see. Exemptions. If married and your wife or husband had no income, or if this is a joint return of husband and wife, list wife or husband. I better read that again. If married and your wife or husband had no income, or if this is a joint return of husband and wife, list wife or husband. Yeah, that's what it says. That's what the form says. Uncle Sam says that. Well, fortunately, I'm single and have no wife or husband. Now, let's see. Enter your total wage.
Oh, hello, Rochester. What are you doing?
I'm filling out my income tax, Mr. Benny. It certainly is complicated.
Well, I'll help you with it if you like.
I sure would.
All right, now let's see the form. Rochester, you got to put down your salary.
Can I write it in red ink?
Why?
I want them to know I'm blushing.
Never mind. Now, for the next item, list any extra monies you received as gratuities, gifts, or bonuses from your employer.
Oh, boss, come now.
Well, let's see what you did about your deductions. For every close relative you support, you can deduct $600.
Well, let's see. There's my mother.
Oh, Rochester, I didn't know you supported your mother.
Oh, yes, that sweet little old lady I take for a drive every Saturday night.
Your mother? Rochester, I happen to know that every Saturday night you take my car and go up on Mulholland Drive.
M is for the million.
Rochester! Now, don't give me that stuff about your mother. Last Saturday night I followed you. I distinctly heard you mention Lena Horne.
I said, Mother, don't lean on the horn.
Oh, sure. Now, let's see the rest of this. Oh, for heaven's sake. Rochester, you can't list Tan Ferran as a dependent. And what's this item you show as income?
Oh, that was the night Mr. Harris hired me as bartender. Man, was I busy.
Why, who was there?
Just Mr. Harris.
Oh.
By the way, boss, you went to the preview of Mr. Harris's picture last night, didn't you?
Yes, it's called Wabash Avenue.
How was it?
Very good, Rochester, and Mr. Harris was excellent in it. Say, I ought to call him and tell him how much I enjoyed it. I meant to do that yesterday. I forgot all about it after I saw the picture.
Hello, Mr. Harris's residence.
Huh? Who's this?
Alice.
Alice?
Yeah, Alice Quigley, Mr. Harris's new secretary.
Oh. Say, is it a little confusing having two Alices in the same house?
No, he calls his wife Blondie.
Ah. What does he call you?
Dagwood.
Oh. Well, can I speak to Mr. Harris, please?
I guess so. Who's calling?
Oh, this is Jack Benny.
Oh, just a minute. Hey, Curly, the wild goose is on the phone.
Okay, I'll take it in this room. Hiya, Jackson. What's on your mind?
Well, Phil, I called to tell you how much I enjoyed your new picture, Wabash Avenue. I mean, not only did your photograph swell, but you were great in it. You gave the part everything it needed. Really, Phil, you were magnificent.
I know.
Phil, why must you be so conceited?
It's not conceit, Jackson. You said I was good. I know I was good, so there's no sense me being immoral about it.
You must mean immodest. But, Phil, the scene that impressed me most was the one where you were so upset about losing the girl that you went out and got drunk. Gee, you did that swell.
Yeah, even Mr. Zanuck said that scene was worthy of an Academy Award.
Well, it was. Did you have to do much work on it?
What work? I came in one morning, I was loaded, they shot the scene, and the star was born.
Oh, fine. Anyway, Phil, you were really great in it. So was Betty Grable. And you got some rather tough competition from Victor Mature.
Oh, Jackson, that Mature ain't so hot. Why, last year Paramount offered me $200,000 to play his part in Samson and Delilah.
Phil, they offered you $200,000 to play Samson? Why didn't you do it?
And have these tresses cut off? Are you mad?
Well, I don't blame you, Phil. Having you this way is bad enough, but bald-headed would be revolting. You and Sammy the drummer would look like a lovely bunch of coconuts. Believe me.
I can see your point, yeah.
Oh, Mr. Harris.
What is it, Daggy?
Your valet said your bath is ready.
Oh, I'll be right there.
Hey, wait a minute, Phil. How come all of a sudden you not only have a secretary, but a valet, too?
Look, Dad, you're talking to a movie star.
Well, I'm glad you finished that. For a minute, I thought you were going to give milk. Goodbye, Phil.
So long, Jackson.
Gee, I hope Phil's head doesn't swell too much. He can hardly get out of the house now. Well, Rochester, how are you getting along with your tax?
Pretty good, boss. Would you like to look it over?
Yes, let's see. Wait a minute, Rochester, what's this item here for medical expense?
Last year I had one of my tonsils taken out.
Rochester, you only had one of your tonsils taken out?
Boss, when you give me 20 minutes off, you mean 20 minutes.
Rochester, you mean to say you ran out in the middle of an operation?
Don't you remember when I came through the door, I still had a rubber glove in my mouth?
A rubber glove?
The doctor was in it till I crossed Wilshire Boulevard.
Oh, stop with that. Uncle Sam wants money, not jokes. Now, let's see what else you... I'll get it. Oh, hello, Dennis.
I came to say goodbye. I'm joining the Foreign Legion.
Dennis, look at me. You're joining the Foreign Legion?
Uh-huh.
The French Foreign Legion?
Oui, El Capitan.
El Capitan? That's Mon Capitan.
I'm going by train.
Dennis, I want to ask you one thing. Does your mother know you're leaving home to join the Foreign Legion?
Oh, she was the one who suggested it.
Why?
Well, last week I played a joke on her.
On your mother? What'd you do?
I put itching powder in her girdle.
Well, that's an awful thing to do. Your mother should slap your face.
She can't. She's using both hands to scratch with. Boy, is she sorry now. She bites her fingernails.
Dennis, look.
Well, I gotta leave now. I gotta join my regiment.
Stop with that silly talk. You're not joining the Foreign Legion.
I'm not?
No. And come inside. Now, Dennis, forget about the Foreign Legion. You can't go now anyway. We got a program to do Sunday. What song are you going to sing on it?
Well, since it's so close to St. Patrick's Day, maybe I ought to sing Clancy Lowered the Boom.
Well, we must have a lot of people in our house. Well, I won't see it. Well, I won't see it till it's time for the broadcast. So let me hear it now.
Yes, sir.
Foreign Legion. Go ahead and sing.
Okay, hold my sword.
Your sword? Hey, look at that. Say, that sword is over 3 feet long. Where'd you get it?
In a box of Cracker Jack.
What?
It stuck out a little.
Dennis, sing, will you?
Clancy was a peaceful man, if you know what I mean. Now the cops picked up the pieces after Clancy left the scene. He never looked for trouble, that's a fact you can assume. Oh, nevertheless, when trouble would press, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, the Clancy! Oh, the Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. O'Leary was a fighting man, they all knew he was tough. He strutted round the neighborhood, shorting off his guff. He picked a fight with Clancy, then and there he sealed his doom. Before he could shout, "O'Leary, look out! Clancy lowered the boom!" Oh, the Clancy! Oh, the Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. Now Clancy left the barber shop with tonic on his hair. He walked into the pool room and he met O'Reilly there. O'Reilly said, "For goodness sakes, now do I smell perfume?" Before you could stack your cue in the rack, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, the Clancy! Oh, the Clancy! Whenever they got to the Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. The neighbors all turned out for Kate O'Grady's wedding night. McDougal said, "Let's have some fun. I think I'll start a fight." He wrecked the hall, then kissed the bride, then pulverized the groom. Then quick as a wink, before you could think, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, the Clancy! Oh, the Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, the Clancy! Oh, the Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. Sure, it was the greatest sight you ever did see when Clancy lowered the boom.
Dennis, that was very good, and just the right number before St. Patrick's Day.
Give me back my sword.
Here, and don't cut yourself. Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Benny,
Yes?
my name is Joan. The girls in my high school class are having a scavenger hunt.
Uh-huh.
And I was selected to come over here and get something personal from you.
Something personal?
Very personal.
Oh, I bet I know what you have to get. A lock of my hair.
I'm supposed to get the whole thing.
Well, Joan, step in for a minute. I'll go into my room and get you one. Excuse me, man. I'll be right back.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Joan. I'm a junior at Chadwick High School.
My name is Dennis. I'm a private in the Foreign Legion. I leave to join my regiment tonight.
Gee, you mean you're going all the way out to the desert?
Uh-huh.
Way over to North Africa?
I thought it was in Palm Springs.
Say, wait a minute. I know who you are. You're Dennis Day, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Gosh, wait till I tell the rest of the girls in my class I met Dennis Day. They think you're a wonderful singer.
They do?
Yeah, they think you're almost as good as Vic Damone.
Well, here you are, young lady.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Benny. And when the scavenger hunt is over, I'll return it.
Oh, you needn't bother.
Just turn loose. It'll come home.
Yeah. Well, goodbye, Joan.
Goodbye.
She was a pretty girl, wasn't she, Dennis? Dennis? He left with her.
Say, boss, I finished making out my income tax. I'm ready to send to the government. Have you got a 3-cent stamp?
Rochester, you've already got a 3-cent stamp on the envelope.
I have to put one in the envelope. That's my tax.
Well, I don't know if you're allowed... Oh, look what time it is. I better turn on the radio. I don't want to miss it today.
Boss, what's on the radio that's so important?
I want to listen to that program. You know, they're going to announce the winner of the contest.
Is that the contest that you've been sending all those soap wrappers to?
Yep, that's the one. It's sponsored by the Sagebrush Soap Company. Gosh, I hope they like the slogan I sent in. Now is the hour to take a shower while the bloom is on the sage. That ought to win it. Rochester, turn on the radio.
Boss, that program doesn't come on for 5 minutes yet.
I know, but I don't want to take any chance of missing it, you know. Boy, could I use a trip to Honolulu or 2 weeks in Havana. Turn on the radio.
I can see no matter how near you'll be, you'll never be wrong to me, but I can dream, and can I adore you,
Now for our next contestant.
That's not the station I want, brother. Maybe this is it.
Oh, Paul, listen to me. You've only been married to her for such a short time. Please don't leave her.
I must leave her.
But she's my only daughter, my only child. Please, Paul, say you won't leave her. Please don't leave her.
I must leave her.
Paul, I beg you, I implore you, don't leave her. Say you won't leave her. Say it, Paul. Say you won't leave her.
This program is sponsored by the Lever Brothers.
Oh, that isn't the station either.
And now we bring you our genial master of ceremonies, the man with the sagebrush complexion, Frank Nelson.
That's it, Rochester. That's the program that has the contest.
How do you do? Once again, we bring you that thrilling program sponsored by the Sagebrush Soap Company, makers of Sagebrush, the only soap with a Western motif.
I know. Get to the contest.
And why does Sagebrush soap have a Western motif? For your convenience. When you're bathing, Sagebrush doesn't slip and slide all over the place, thanks to that Western motif. Sagebrush is the only soap that's shaped like a gun. In the morning, all you have to do is take off your pajamas, strap on your holster, and step into the shower.
Come on, announce the winner.
Yes, with Sagebrush, the soap that's shaped like a gun. There's no rub or scrub. You shoot yourself clean. So remember our slogan, use Sagebrush soap and smell like a cowboy.
The slogan I sent in is better than that.
And now we come to the announcement you've all been waiting for, the slogan that was judged the winner in our thrilling contest.
This is it, Roger.
This slogan that was selected from over 12 entries. And here it is. Now is the hour to take a shower while the bloom is on the sage.
Gee, that's the lousiest slogan
Yikes! What's the matter, boy?
That lousy slogan is mine. Gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that winning slogan was sent in by Mr. Jack Benny of 360 North Camden Drive, Beverly Hills. We're glad to know that our soap is getting into that part of the city.
Never mind the talk. What's the prize? Boss,
do you think you'll get a trip to Honolulu?
I don't know. Havana isn't bad either.
Yes, Mr. Benny, for sending in that slogan to the Sagebrush Soap Company, you have won yourself a trip.
Pack my bags, Rochester.
Yes, sir, a magnificent trip.
Shall I pack a ukulele?
Not yet. It might be Havana.
Ah, Mr. Benny, you're a lucky man. You have won yourself 6 glorious weeks at that romantic spot of song and story.
Yes.
That Shangri-La whose shores are lapped by the languid waters of the blue Pacific. Pismo Beach.
Pismo Beach? What happened to Honolulu?
And now, in honor of our contest winner, Mr. Jack Benny, who sent in our new slogan, now is the hour to take a shower while the bloom is on the sage, our quartet, Proctor, Gamble, Palmolive, and Pete, will wish our contest winner bon voyage. Take it, boys.
By the sea, by the sea, by the beautiful sea. Pismo Beach, oh how happy you'll be. When each wave comes a-rolling in, you will duck or swim.
And you'll float and fool around the water.
Over and under and then up for air. Just use one dab of glue and you won't lose your hair. You'll have a lot of fun shooting clams with your soap gun at Pismo by the beautiful sea. Lucky Strike, you will smoke them all day. And for smoothness and mildness, you'll say they're okay. Round and firm and so fully packed, made of fine of back.
Yes, it's LS.
NFT, by the beautiful sea. Take a puff, and we know you'll agree. You'll find there's no rough puff or puff at Pismo by the beautiful sea.
With our new prize-winning slogan. Take it, boys.
Now is the hour to take a shower while the bloom is on the stage.
Imagine me winning a trip just to Pismo Beach. It's only 200 miles from here.
Shall I pack your tuxedo, boss?
Rochester, I don't have to dress formal to dig clams. Anyway, I'm not going.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dreer Pooson speaking to you from Washington. My first prediction is that the federal budget will soon be balanced. This feat will be accomplished as soon as we collect the income tax from Bob Hope.
He's not kidding. The money Bob's making at the Paramount New York will do it. Shut off the radio, Rochester. Well, I think that I'll get it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Well, Mr. Kitson.
Mr. Benny, I just called you up to congratulate you.
Congratulate me?
Yeah, I was sitting here at home listening to the radio when all of a sudden they're announcing you the winner on a contest.
Oh, that.
What a slogan. Now is the hour to take a shower while Mrs. Bloom is on the stage.
No, Mr. Kitzel. That's Bloom is on the stage.
Oh, I thought it was his wife.
Oh.
Mr. Benny, are you lucky? My, what I wouldn't give to spend 6 glorious weeks in Pismo Beach.
Well, Mr. Kitzel, Pismo Beach is a lovely place, but I can go there anytime. It's close by. I don't have to win it. Anyway, I'm not going.
But a vacation would do you good, Mr. Benny. You've been working too hard.
Well, I know.
Every Sunday a radio program and 5 nights a week on television.
Me? On television?
I never miss it. Time for Benny.
No, that's Beanie. Time for Beanie. See that? Look, Mr. Kitzel, they're puppets.
Ooh, puppets, muppets. I still think a vacation is good for everybody, and that's why I'm going to Sun Valley this week.
Oh, you're going up Sun Valley?
Yes, I'm going up to do some skiing.
Well, you better be careful, Mr. Kitzel. You know, Ali Khan broke his leg while skiing. Now he's confined to his home for 6 months.
So what? When you're married to Rita Hayworth, where do you want to go?
I never thought of that. Well, it was nice of you to call, Mr. Kitzel. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny. Shoot a clam for me.
I told you I'm not going. Goodbye. Oh, Rochester.
Yes, boss?
Look, I'm kind of tired. I think I'll go upstairs and go to bed early tonight. I have rehearsal tomorrow, and I don't... For heaven's sake, what's that? Take it easy. I'm coming.
Are you Benny?
Yes?
Jack Benny?
Yes.
Good. The car's at the curb. The motor's running. Let's go.
Yeah, come on. The motor's running.
What are you fellas talking about?
We're from the Sagebrush Soap Company.
Yeah, we came to take you to Pismo Beach.
Wait a minute.
You won the contest.
What a slogan.
Now is the hour to take a shower while the bloom is on a stage.
Look, fellas,
Come
look.
on, Benny. Get your clam shovel. We'll be on our way.
I'm not getting any clam shovel. I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Go to bed. Are you trying to insult the Sagebrush Soap Company?
Yeah, you
you didn't win no ordinary prize like a trip to Honolulu.
Or the Havana.
You won a trip to Pismo Beach.
I know. They mentioned it on the radio.
What a slogan.
And now is the hour to take an hour when the bloom is on a
Oh, for heaven's sake, fellas. Now,
Come
look.
on, Benny. Come on, it's right.
Let go of my arm.
Come on.
Stop pulling me, do you hear? Stop. I'm not going to go.
You're going to spend 6 glorious weeks at Pismo Beach if we have to drag you there.
Now, let go of me.
Grab him, Joe.
I got him.
Fellas, please.
What a slogan.
And now is the hour to take an hour when the
Fellas, now, look, this is ridiculous. Now, turn me loose or I'll sue your company. Now, get out of here. Here, get out. I said out. 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 Wow. The last time I ever enter a contest. And those guys coming in here trying to force me to...
Boss, I thought you'd gone.
Gone? No one's going to make... Rochester, where are you going with your suitcase?
Well, I figured while you were spending 6 glorious weeks at Pismo Beach, I'd go and have my other tonsil taken out.
Well, I'm not going. You can have that done tomorrow during your lunch hour.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my extreme pleasure now to present the Vice President of the Columbia Broadcasting System, Mr. Howard Meagan.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on behalf of the Columbia Broadcasting System to offer our congratulations to Jack Benny for having won the greatest honor that has ever been bestowed on a radio artist. Radio Daily conducted a poll among all of the radio editors and columnists in the United States and Canada. And Jack Benny was selected as the greatest radio personality in the past 25 years.
He is. Gee, I'm only 39.
Well, seriously, Jack, CBS wants to add their congratulations to the many you've no doubt already received.
Well, thank you, Mr. Meagan, and I'm very grateful and very proud of this honor. I want to thank Radio Daily, who conducted the poll, and the radio editors and columnists of the United States and Canada. I'd like everyone to know that this tribute is equally shared with my cast, my writers, in fact, every member of my staff. And I also want to thank you listeners who have been so loyal through the years. Thanks very much.
Jack will be back in just a moment, but first...
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness with never a rough puff. Listen to what Mr. Tom Jones, an independent tobacco auctioneer from Mount Airy, North Carolina, recently said.
In 18 years of auctioneering at market after market, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine tobacco. Fine, ripe cigarette tobacco that makes a smooth, mild smoke. I've smoked Lucky's for 15 years.
Millions of smokers, including the glamorous movie star Marlene Dietrich, take a tip from the experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, lovely Miss Dietrich said,
"Every Lucky Strike I've ever smoked has tasted mild and smooth to me. That's the big reason why I've smoked them for many years."
And for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about the 1950 Easter seal sale for crippled children. In these trying days when so much thought and money is being spent to destroy, what a wonderful thing it is to be able to give someone a chance to mend. The Easter Seal campaign does just that by helping crippled children. So won't you please send what you can, as soon as you can, to Crippled Children, Post Office Box 5050, Chicago 80, Illinois. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Oh, hello, Mary. Yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't come over to my house today. We had such excitement. How's your... Gesundheit? How's your... Gesundheit? Mary, how's your... Gesundheit? Gee, that was a long one. What? Well, I was going to ask you how your cold was, but never mind. What'd you say, Mary? Oh, you heard what Mr. Meagan said? Well, thanks, Mary. I feel very happy about it. So long, Dow.
Be sure to hear Dennis Day and A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned for the Cincinnati show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Scientific tests prove Lucky Strike is milder than any other principal brand of cigarettes. Scientific tests prove Lucky Strike is milder than any other principal brand of cigarettes. That fact is verified by an independent consulting laboratory with more than 15 years' experience in cigarette research.
Based on our analytical findings, it is our opinion that Lucky Strike cigarettes are the mildest of the 6 major brands tested.
And no wonder Lucky Strike cigarettes have been proved milder. For years, Lucky Strike has conducted a unique and vast program in research, in quality controls, and manufacturing methods. And today, tomorrow, always.
LSMFT. LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness with never a rough puff.
So light up a Lucky and prove to yourself what scientific tests prove. Lucky Strike is milder than any other principal brand of cigarettes.
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, just 4 days from now, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences will present their annual awards. And when the winners are announced, Jack Benny, being a man of high ideals and noble character, will be the first to say,
I was robbed.
And here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, I'm glad you brought up the subject of the Academy Awards because...
Wait a minute, Jackson. Wait a minute. Temper. Just hold your hair up a minute. After all, where do you come off saying you was robbed?
Huh?
Well, the winners haven't even been announced yet.
I know.
And you haven't made a picture for 5 years.
I know.
You've only got one show, too.
Dennis, go sit down.
Oui, mon capitaine.
You can stop with that, too. Phil, when I said I was robbed, I was referring to last year. That's when they did the casting for the picture All the King's Men, and the director asked me if I'd like to compete for the lead. So I even went down to the studio.
Well, don't feel bad about not getting the part, Jack. After all, Broderick Crawford is a wonderful actor.
Broderick? Holy smoke, I thought it was Joan, and I wore my Charlie's Aunt costume. How do you like that?
Well, Jack, weren't you embarrassed going out to the studio dressed up like Charlie's aunt?
Not at first, Don, but coming home on the streetcar, my bustle crept up, and I looked like the hunchback of Notre Dame. Anyway, that was my one chance to win an Academy Award.
Well, don't take it too seriously, Jackson. Winning an award isn't important as long as you're doing the right thing. That's all that matters.
What do you mean?
Well, take the picture I just made, Wabash Avenue. Let Victor Mature and Betty Grable win the awards. I'm happy knowing that I was Aqueduct in the part.
Well, we're back to Francis the Mule.
Oh, I want to tell you something, Jackson. Seriously, those producers were smart to think of me.
Phil, casting you was a natural. When they thought of making the picture, they thought of Chicago for the locale. When they thought of Chicago, they thought of Wabash Avenue. When they thought of an avenue, they thought of a street. When they thought of a street, they thought of a gutter. And any 3-year-old could take it from there. So, Phil, as far as the perfect casting is concerned, don't
now,
take...
wait a minute, Jackson. Just hold it a minute. You've got it all wrong. That part had nothing to do with drinking. They needed someone who could play the part of a nightclub owner, a gambler, a great lover.
A great lover, huh? Well, Phil, let me ask you something. If you're such a great lover, how come at the end of the picture, Victor Mature marries Betty Grable?
Because Alice made him change the finish. Alice, she ain't sharing me with nobody, even in the land of make-believe.
Phil, you're the hammiest guy I ever met.
Oui, mon capitaine.
I'm glad you agree. Now, kids...
Hello, Jack. How you fellas?
Well, Mary, welcome back.
Hiya, Liv. Good to see you again.
We sure missed you, Mary.
Well, thanks, fellas. And Jack, next time I have a cold, don't send your doctor to take care of me.
Why not? He's an excellent physician.
Yeah, but boy, is he nearsighted.
The doctor?
When he came into the house, I thought I'd save a little time. So I stuck out my tongue and he hung his hat on it.
No kidding. Is he that nearsighted?
Worse than that.
Yeah?
He went to listen to my chest, put his stethoscope against the radiator, and said, "Stop hissing me. I'm here to help you."
Had a little trouble with stethoscope.
Yes,
Next time we do the joke, we'll make it needle. But anyway, Mary, I can tell by the twinkle in your eye that never happened.
Oui, mon capitaine.
I thought so. Well, anyway, you're back on the program. That's all that matters.
Hey, Livo, how'd you happen to catch that cold in the first place?
Well, one night I went out riding with Jack, and his car has no windshield.
No windshield? Well, how come Jack didn't catch cold, too?
He sits on the floor and drives by periscope.
Drive by periscope. Stop making things up. Now, come on, Dennis. Let's have your song.
No.
What?
I don't want to sing yet. I've only had 3 laughs up to now.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Dennis. Who counts their laughs?
Phil does.
Phil counts his laughs?
As soon as he gets 5, he runs over to NBC.
Dennis, you yourself said I've only got one show. Let me keep it, will you? Now go ahead and sing.
Well, how about my other 2 laughs?
Never mind. Sing.
Music. I do anything for you, anything you want me to. All I want is kissing you and music. Closer, my dear, come closer. The nicest part of any melody is when you're dancing close to me. Put another nickel in the Nickelodeon. All I want is loving you and music.
Music, sung by Dennis. And very good.
He says once.
Oui, mon capitaine. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned before, it is only a few more days to the presentation of the Academy Award. The leading male nominees for their outstanding performances are Broderick Crawford for All the King's Men, Richard Todd for The Hasty Heart, Gregory Peck for 12 O'Clock High, John Wayne for The Sands of Iwo Jima, and Jack Benny for his outstanding performance in The Champion. So tonight, we are going to...
Jack, what are you talking about?
Huh?
Kirk Douglas is up for the award.
Well,
he was the star of
that's
the
the stethoscope. bet you $1,000 Douglas is easier to say than Stephen. What'd you say, Del?
I said Kirk Douglas is up for the award. He was the star of The Champion.
Mary, that was for the picture. I'm talking about my radio performance. I did The Champion on the radio a year ago.
Well, who's going to give an award for that?
I don't know, Mary. I got one last week. Let's take a chance. So tonight we're going to offer our new version of The Champion, in which... Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, champ. This is Rochester.
Hello, Rochester. What do you want?
I finished packing your bags for your trip to Palm Springs.
Oh, good. I want to leave right after the program tonight. You sure you got everything?
Yes, sir. I packed your riding habit,
Uh-huh.
your tennis racket,
Uh-huh.
your golf clubs, and a pick and shovel.
A pick and shovel?
You know how you are when you lose a ball.
Rochester, I may lose a ball once in a while, but I don't dig holes on a golf course.
I don't know. Last year they followed you around planting palm trees.
All right. Now, Roger, I'll spend a lot of time in the sun, so you better pack my yellow shorts.
You better not take the yellow ones, because they're full of moth holes.
My yellow shorts? Oh, well, then pack my blue ones.
They're not back from the cleaners.
Oh. Well, in that case, pack my black ones.
You sold those to Gorgeous Gussie.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll buy some at the Springs.
By the way, boss, in case anyone wants to get in touch with you, where will you be staying?
At the beautiful Flamingo Hotel.
But, Mr. Benny, the Flamingo Hotel isn't in Palm Springs. It's in Las Vegas.
I know, but now when I do go to Las Vegas, I can stay there. Now, Rochester, did you take care of everything else?
I even packed your violin.
What?
You know, it's pretty crowded in Palm Springs.
What's my violin got to do with it?
Well, if you walk into a hotel and there's no vacancy, you can make one.
Rochester, did you think of that all by yourself?
Oui, mon capitaine.
I thought so. Well, goodbye.
So long, champ.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our feature attraction tonight, we're going to present our new version. Our new... Yes, John?
I think we ought to get to the commercial in now before we do the play.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you reminded me. What has the Sportsman Quartet prepared?
Well, they have a wonderful number, Jack, and they're dedicating it to you.
To me?
Yes. You see, Jack, there's such excitement about the Academy Awards that they feel terrible that you stopped making pictures.
No.
Yes. They think that a star of your magnitude should project his personality in every possible medium.
Well, and so they're dedicating this number to me?
Yes. Take it, boys.
You ought to be in pictures. You're beautiful to see.
Me?
You ought to be in pictures, for you're as cute as can be.
Gee.
You're handsomer than Gable. You're sexier than Flynn.
No.
Your legs are just like Grable's. Please tell us, Jack, where you've been. Your eyes are as soft and blue as the waters of Lake Louise. Your hair is a work of art, but please don't lose it in the breeze. You're funnier than Popeye.
I am?
You'd fill up every house. You ought to be in pictures like Mickey Mouse. You ought to make a picture with LSMFT. They're now in television. They're dancing so gracefully. They never seem to worry. They're never out of step. They learn from Arthur Murray. That's why they're hep, full of pep. They're so round, so firm, so fully packed. There's not a puff that's rough. We smoked them for nigh on 20 years. They are the ones we love.
Love?
They ought to win an Oscar for smoking, that is grand. So keep on buying Lucky, your favorite brand.
Very good, boy. Don, that was really wonderful. And now for our play. Take it, Don.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our feature attraction tonight, we present our new version of that thrilling, dramatic story of the prize ring entitled The Champion. Curtain music.
My name is Midge Benny. I'm the middleweight champion of the world. People say I'm a heel. They say I'd slug my own grandmother. But they're wrong. Grandma's a heavyweight. My struggle to the championship was a tough one. It started 2 years ago. I was trudging along a dusty Kansas road hitchhiking with my best friend, Bubbles.
You tired, Bubbles?
Pretty much, Midge.
Well, we'll be in Los Angeles in a few days. I hear it's a great place. There's a lot of smog there.
Smog? What's that?
That's fog with a garlic breath. Anyway, it won't be long now. As soon as we get there. Hey, Bubbles, look out. Here comes a car.
Hello, boys. Do you want a lift?
The car stopped in front of us. It was the latest model, driven by a beautiful girl with a convertible top. I could tell by the dark part in her blonde hair that she had just converted it. There was a man sitting next to her. As Bubbles and I started to get into the car, she said,
Hop into the back seat, boys.
Thanks a lot.
How far are you boys going?
All the way to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, eh? I got an aunt who lives in a suburb of Los Angeles.
Glendale?
No, Tehachapi.
By the way, miss, your boyfriend doesn't seem very talkative.
He talks with his fists. He's Slugger Brown, the middleweight champ of the world.
Yeah.
We can only take you boys as far as Omaha. Slugger is fighting there tonight.
Yeah.
Are you really Slugger Brown?
Yeah.
And you're the middleweight champ?
Yeah.
And you're fighting tonight in Omaha?
Yeah.
36 years later, we arrived in Omaha. During the ride, I found out a lot about Slugger and his girlfriend, Flamingo. Her name used to be Mary, but she wanted a free week there, too. I watched the fight that night and saw Slugger Brown collect $30,000. It was then I, Midge Benny, decided to become a prize fighter. Bubbles and I hitchhiked to Los Angeles. I went to see the foremost fight manager in town. I stripped myself to the waist. He looked at my chest and said,
That reminds me, I'm having spare ribs for dinner.
Now, don't be funny, Mr. McNulty. I may not look so good now, see, but you give me 2 or 3 months of training and I'll be a champion someday. A champion, do you hear?
Now, wait a minute, me boy. Fighting is a tough game. I used to be a fighter myself.
You?
Right you are, me boy. I'll never forget me last fight. It was with Killer Nelson. I was afraid of him, but they made me go in the ring and fight.
They did, eh?
That they did. First we were fighting in the center of the ring, and then up against the ropes. Then he kept after me, and finally he caught me in the wrong corner and knocked me out.
What corner was that?
Pico and Sepulveda.
Pico and Sepulveda?
The fight was held in New Orleans.
Now, who else did you fight?
Well, the most exciting fight I ever had was the one with Joe Louis.
You? You fought Joe Louis?
Ah, he murdered me.
Well, why did you fight him?
I won the chance on a quiz program.
That?
and 8 glorious weeks in the Cedars of Lebanon Hospital.
Well, look, Mr. McNulty, that don't discourage me. I want to be a fighter. Will you handle me?
All right, me bucko, I'll be your manager. Now go over to the gym and let me trainer, Punchy McNeil, get you into condition.
The next morning, I went over to the gym. It was a large, gloomy place smelling of liniment. Here, in this edifice of concrete and steel, men dedicated their lives to the inhuman pursuit of mangling and maiming. It was here that the beast in man overrode all human qualities, and one man would try to pummel another's countenance beyond recognition for the sake of monetary reward.
The preceding speech was written by William Paley, Jr.
He not only made me hire his son, but I had to give him credit yet. I looked around the gym trying to find Punchy McNeil. Finally, I asked a man leaning against the ring.
Excuse me, mister, but I'm looking for Punchy McNeil.
Ah, that's me.
Well, I'm Midge Benny.
I'm pleased to know you.
Now, look, Punchy, I'm trying to be a fighter, and Mr. McNulty wants you to train me.
Okay, but you ought to think it over. Fighting is a tough racket. I should know, as I used to be a fighter myself.
No.
Yeah, I had my first fight back in 1932.
Gosh.
Yeah, I spent 12 years in the ring.
12 years?
Yeah, but I finally came to, got up, and went home.
Well, look, Punchy,
Wait a minute, I didn't finish my story.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, well, tell me, Punchy, were you always a fighter?
Oh, no, I used to be a musician with Guy Lombardo's band.
Go on, you were never with Lombardo.
Oh, yes, I was.
On that last sniff, he vacuumed the handkerchief right out of my vest pocket.
Oh, come on, Mitch, let's start training.
2 weeks later, I won my first fight. A full week later, my second. Then my third, fourth, and fifth, until I had won 28 fights. In 2 short years, I was matched to fight the champ, Slugger Brown. I was in my dressing room with my manager when the door opened.
Hello, Midge. How you doing?
It was her again. She was wearing a sweatshirt that had Flamingo Hotel written on it. This was overdoing it. I walked over to her and said,
Hello, baby. What brings you here?
Well, I heard you were going to fight the champ, and I wanted to see if you were ready for the main event.
Well, sure I'm ready.
Well, if you want to, you can kiss me for luck.
Okay, here.
Still a preliminary, boy.
Oh, yeah? Now, look, baby. Let's have a date tonight after I knock out the champ.
I've got news for you, Midge. You're not knocking out anybody. You're throwing the fight.
Are you kidding?
You don't believe me? Here's your manager. Ask him.
McNulty, are you crazy? Would I fight for 2 years in Tank Towns for this? Would I spend 2 years getting my brains knocked out just so I could take a dive? Would I work my way up to the title bout just to throw the fight? Would I?
Why don't you turn the page and find out?
What?
Oh, why don't you turn the page and find out?
I turned the page, and there it was. I was to take a dive in the 5th round. William Paley, Jr. double-crossed me. Well, I wasn't going to do it. I'd worked and fought to be champion, and tonight I was going to fight to win.
Introducing at 159 pounds, the middleweight champion of the world, Slugger Brown. The Slugger is wearing purple trunks. And now for his worthy challenger, weighing 155 pounds, Midge Benny. Midge is wearing black shorts.
They were too big for Gussie.
And now for your sports announcer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the radio audience. The men are in the center of the ring receiving their instructions. They go back to their corners, waiting for the bell. And there it is, round one. Slugger comes out of his corner and starts mixing furiously. Midge meets him like a wildcat with a right and a left. And now for a few words from our sponsor, the Sagebrush Soap Company. Look clean, feel clean, be clean. And remember our slogan, now is the hour to take a shower while the bloom is on the stage. Now back to the fight. Well, that was an exciting round. Slugger's nose is still bleeding and Midge's eye is tightly closed. Now we're waiting for the bell for the second round. There's the bell. The boys come out and circle each other. They're still circling each other.
We circled each other 3 times. Then my opponent leaned over to me and said...
Hey, Bud. Bud.
Who, me?
Yeah. Come here a minute.
What is it?
What round are you going to take the dive in?
The 5th. What?
Make it the 3rd.
The 3rd? Why?
My feet are killing me.
Now, look, Slugger, I'm not throwing this fight. I'm in here to win, so start mixing it. Do you understand?
Oui, mon capitaine.
Okay, put up your dukes.
Ooh! The champ lands a terrific right cross, and Midge Benny is down.
Yes, I was down.
The referee is counting over him. What did he
The referee was a tobacco auctioneer. As I lay there, beaten and dazed, my whole career flashed in front of me. How it started 2 years ago, when I was trudging along a dusty Kansas road, hitchhiking with my best friend, Bubbles.
You tired, Bubbles?
Pretty much, Midge.
Hey, Bubbles, look out. Here comes a car.
Hello, boys. You want a lift?
Oh, no. We're not going through that again. Come on, Bubbles.
Jack will be back in a moment, but first...
Scientific tests prove Lucky Strike is milder than any other principal brand of cigarettes. Scientific tests prove Lucky Strike is milder than any other principal brand of cigarettes. That fact is verified by an independent consulting laboratory with more than 15 years' experience in cigarette research. The report from the consulting laboratory stated, based on our analytical findings, it is our opinion that Lucky Strike cigarettes are the mildest of the 6 major brands tested. LSMFT. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy. Just listen to the words of Mr. B.V. Bowen, an independent tobacco buyer from Timminsville, South Carolina. Recently, he said,
I've been in the tobacco business for 40 years. And year after year, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine, light, ripe tobacco that makes a smooth, mild smoke. I've smoked Luckies for 22 years.
So, smoke a Lucky. You'll prove to yourself what scientific tests prove. Lucky Strike is milder than any other principal brand of cigarettes. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week at the same time, our program will be coming to you from Palm Springs, and our guest will be Bob Hope. So be sure and... Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
Here's a telegram for you.
Right here, boy. Here's a tip.
Geez, thanks. Now I can spend the rest of my life working.
Who's the wire from, Jack?
Let's see. Oh, it's from Bob Hope. Now, isn't this clever?
Well, what does he say?
Dear Jack, happy to be on your program next week in Palm Springs, but I must warn you. As soon as I get 5 laughs, I'm going out and play golf. See, everybody counts. Good night, folks.
Be sure to hear Dennis Day and the Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned for the Dennis Sanders Show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.